That Madonna's baby thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Funny.
Oh,
you know,
thanks.
it's, I really have to give it to that guy that's the father, you know, Carlos...
Leon.
Carlos Leon?
Or Carlos Leon, I forget which one.
Because you got to have a lot of guts. That means he had sex with Madonna without a condom. Right? That's great. Michael Jackson. He said, I heard a quote where he said, he said, I don't care if my child is a boy or a girl, as long as it's a boy. He's going to name it. He said he doesn't know what he's going to name it. He said he thinks if it's a girl, he's going to name it Sharon.
Really?
Yeah. And if it's a boy, he's going to have sex with it. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. The crowd is torn. Liza Minnelli has gotten word she'll have to have a hip replacement operation. This marks the first time in 15 years that the name Liza Minnelli and the word hip have been used in the same sentence. Well, let's get to O.J. O.J. Simpson's lawyers say they don't want the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman in the courtroom during the trial. They're afraid the presence of the family members will just remind O.J. of how much more killing he still has to do. And finally, the Oscar nominations were announced this week, and Tom Hanks and Jodie Foster are in a heated competition in the Academy's controversial new category, Best Retard. To illustrate the point that their client is running out of money to defend himself, O.J. Simpson's lawyer said this week that if he had to do it over again, after killing his victims, O.J. would now rob them as well. That one you find troubling? We went. New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings. Men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates. This was Colin Ferguson's first week in prison. Ferguson has reportedly dismissed his cellmate, and from now on he will be acting as his own bitch. And finally, due to a change in policy, Amtrak employees will no longer be able to kick homeless people out of Penn Station based on the way they look. From now on, they will have to go solely on urine stench. This is our top story tonight, this week in the O.J. Simpson trial. After grisly photos of the murdered Nicole Brown Simpson were shown in court, O.J. turned his head away and wept. It was at that moment that he realized he would never be able to kill her again. Actor Charlie Sheen is reportedly engaged to model Donna Peel. Friends of Sheen say they knew Sheen was serious when he took Donna home to meet the hookers. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry attended the march and called it a beautiful display of unity and solidarity among African Americans. His only complaint, the complete absence of crack. In publishing news, Magic Johnson has received a $5 million advance from Random House for his new book entitled What You Can Do to Avoid AIDS. Chapter 1, Don't Have Sex with Me. Officials at the Philadelphia Zoo report they have actually been able to preserve sperm from an endangered one-horned rhinoceros. The sperm will remain frozen at the zoo until Michael Jackson comes by with a check and picks it up. 47-year-old Adrienne Brown, wife of soul legend James Brown, died suddenly last week. Most shocking of all, she was not killed by James Brown. Finally, some good news. According to her doctor, legendary actress Katharine Hepburn is recovering nicely from her recent illness, and they have even upgraded her condition to decrepit. So that's nice. Well, you don't like her? You don't like Katharine Hepburn, for God's sake? As Baltimore and Cleveland met this week in divisional playoff action, the big story in baseball continues to be Orioles second baseman Roberto Alomar. Under a dark cloud. Yes, none of us like him. Well, according to a new Entertainment Weekly poll, 72% of their readers say they would not be offended if a TV show lead character were gay. Though that figure shrinks to 1% when these same readers are reminded that being gay can involve anal sex. This weekend, veteran news anchorman David Brinkley apologized to Bill Clinton for an election night commentary in which he called the president, quote, boring and uncreative. Admitted Brinkley, there was certainly nothing uncreative about the way you moved Vince Foster's body. The president's a murderer. You didn't know that? O.J. Simpson was in a different courtroom this week, attempting to regain custody of his 2 children. In order to prove to the court how much he loves his kids, O.J. pointed out, quote, hey, they're still alive, aren't they? According to O.J. Simpson's niece, Terry Baker, when O.J.'s mother, Eunice Simpson, first heard about the slaying of Nicole Brown, she exclaimed, he did it. Reached for comment, O.J. said, my mom was just guessing. I hadn't even told her yet. You know, yesterday the House Budget Committee approved an outline of the deal between President Clinton and congressional leaders to balance the budget. But both sides caution it is not set in stone. In order to become official, of course, it must still be approved by this Chinese guy here. He's got a... Boo, what the hell? Safer drivers, men or women? Well, according to a new survey, 55% of adults feel that women are most responsible for minor fender benders, while 78% blame men for most fatal crashes. Please note that the percentages in these pie graphs do not add up to 100% because the math was done by a woman. For those of you hissing at that joke, it should be noted that that joke was written by a woman. So now you don't know what the hell to do. No, I'm just kidding. We don't hire women. I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So, yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later.
He had I think, best word choice of maybe any comedian I've ever seen. Yeah. He intentionally mispronounces words when he knows, right. But he's constantly screwing with you on every level. Right. But his word choice is, he was like Mark Twain. He had this folksy, completely out of time.
Model Carrie Otis made news this week when she stated that she didn't want Mickey Rourke showing up at her work. Hey, join the club, lady. You think any of us want Mickey Rourke showing up at our work? According to a poll taken last week, if the presidential elections were held tomorrow, the guy in the funny mask would win. Maybe if I said the word properly. A Cambridge, Massachusetts juror found City Councilman William Walsh not guilty of malicious destruction of property after he removed 2 dildos from a sculpture in the City Hall annex. Walsh's defense was that he was walking by, saw them, and said to himself, "Hey, free dildos." Look at her. 18-year-old Julie Wozchak will be going to Paris after winning an essay contest sponsored by the Dayton Daily News. She won for her essay, which was entitled, "Why I Want to Go to Paris with Some Old Guy from the Daily Dayton News." Dayton Daily News. Like that would have helped. Okay. Last week, Magic legend, or basketball legend, Magic Johnson. Last week, basketball legend Magic Johnson rejoined the Los Angeles Lakers 4 years after learning he was HIV positive. NBA doctors have assured the league's players that they have absolutely nothing to worry about, as long as when they are guarding Magic, they remember not to have sex with him. A new development in the O.J. Simpson civil trial this week. According to sworn testimony, Nicole Brown Simpson had told her therapist that she was afraid of getting beaten by O.J. Simpson. Asked why he didn't report this earlier, the therapist said, "I was afraid of getting beaten by O.J. Simpson." I said getting beaten, and that may have hurt a little. A French government survey finds that Disneyland Paris is the most popular tourist attraction in the country. And the most popular ride? Women who don't shave their armpits of the Caribbean. There's two ways to pronounce that, and I got neither. Over the next 2 months, the murder, over the next, what are they? Over the next 2 months, the number of Border Patrol agents in Tucson, Arizona will double to 49. Meanwhile, the number of illegal aliens sneaking into the country will hold steady at 100 million billion. And finally, sources report that Michael Jackson's baby is due February 27th, and it's going to be named Michael Jackson Jr. Michael plans to be with the mother during the delivery, in his words, to make up for not being there for the Sources report that Michael Jackson's baby is due February 27th. It's conception. The last word was conception, so. Just hours after, works both ways. Just hours after President Clinton again pledged to clean up the Democratic Party's fundraising operation, the White House announced he will attend a $1 million fundraiser next week. However, spokesman Mike McCurry stressed that at this event, quote, "Donations from Indonesia or other foreign countries will not be accepted unless they are left in a brown paper bag under the sink in the men's room." Unquote. Weekend Update's 1997 survey of the most dangerous jobs in America is out today. The biggest change, last year's #1 West Coast rap star. You know, it'd probably be better if I was over on this camera. Okay, well, now that I'm over on this camera, it'd probably be better if you put the cards over here. The 1997 Most Dangerous Jobs in America is out, and this year, a little bit of a change. Last year's #1 West Coast rap star has been knocked out of the top spot by the new Most Dangerous Job in America, East Coast rap star. Imagine if it had all gone well. Last week in Kansas City, two people... Oh, drats. Two homeless people who met at a soup kitchen were married in front of homeless guests at the very same soup kitchen. For those who want to give the couple a wedding gift, they are registered at Kansas City's District 5 recycling pen. Last weekend in Washington, a new museum dedicated to broadcast Bah! The fuck was that? Last weekend in Washington, a new museum... my farewell performance. Last weekend, with the resignation of two police officers in Virginia, Vermont, the city's 2,500 residents are now left with only one policeman. Note to self, if I get fired for cursing on the air last week, drive up to Virginia, Vermont, hypnotize the remaining policeman, and loot town. Yeah, that's it.
I feel that connection when you touch my body. I know you are something, and I can't ignore it. My friends tell me if I wanna go to them, what day is like.
Biggest show right now in the planet is Kate and Ashley plus what? Kate, John and Kate.
Spit all over me. That's all right.
John and Kate plus 8.
You did it. You did it. Yeah.
John and Kate plus 8. There's a show called Rock of Love.
Yes, Bret Michaels, Rock of Love.
Yes,
yeah.
Bret Michaels, and he had a band called Rock of Love, and he was a big band singer.
He had a band called Poison.
Whatever. Yeah. And Poison.
Yeah.
But their hit song was Rock of Love. So, anyways, the idea is that he gets these ladies.
He says he may pardon the McDougalls if they're, if they go to jail, he may pardon them. And then they asked him, they said, what about Hillary? If she, if she is, because she's also a co-conspirator.
Yeah, if she gets sent away.
If she gets sent away, will he pardon her? And Clinton said, you do the time, you do the crime, you do the time, he said.
That'd be great. Next time you're on the show, just... On our show, studies show that people don't watch the show, period.
Space Jam. You know about this movie?
Yeah. Sure, it's Space Jam.
Everybody would know it.
You know,
I know about it.
Space Jam is,
Michael number one, $30 million, and I saw the movie, it's pretty good. Michael Jackson's actually a very good actor, Yeah. He's no Shaquille O'Neal, but he's a good, I don't know, this isn't going well.
Michael Jordan.
What did I say?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's why. No, but Michael Jordan is in this movie, right?
He is in the movie, yeah.
And he made $30 million for it, and apparently he did the movie because apparently there was some money in the world he didn't have, so he had to. Did I say Michael Jordan?
You said Michael Jordan that time. Yeah, you did good that time. Okay, that's any other topicals you want to zing out there before we move along?
No, it's not going very well.
Do you hear my
3 months in.
Do you hear my Wake Up Maggie? Maggie May
Yeah.
by Rod Stewart.
Yes, I do.
Well, you want to hear my impression of Gordon Lightfoot doing that?
Absolutely.
First 5 lines
Canadian
of the
hero,
song?
Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah.
She told me your riddle I'll never forget. Then she left with the answer I've never found yet.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you. It's late September and I really should be back at school. I know I keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore.
Ah, it was like he was here. That was unbelievable.
He has a very unsexy voice. It only works that song. Yeah, the sexy one.
Where does he rank in the Canadian pantheon?
He's pretty high up there.
Is he higher than Bryan Adams?
Oh, yeah. He's higher than Bryan Adams. You know, I guess the highest is like Neil Young. He's the great granddaddy of them all.
I don't think I knew that Neil Young was Canadian.
Oh, yeah, man. I'll give you even a better story, you know, than that. Every story's better than that story. No, but he was, his father, Scott Young, was a sports reporter for the Toronto Globe and Mail.
Yeah.
And he was one of our better sports scribes, you know. He was a credit to the fifth estate, as they call sports writing. No, but anyways, he was an old fella, you know,
yeah.
a tough old bird, but a beautiful writer, you know, as was his son. So he was estranged from his son because he became a hippie. And then one day, Scott Young, at 55, was driving down the 401 in Toronto, and the song came over the radio, Old Man, Take a Look at My Life, that he had written, you know, for his father, and his father phoned him, and they've been close ever since. Isn't that beautiful?
Wow. Yeah. I never knew what the genesis was behind that song.
Yeah. Old man, take a look at your life.
Emotional.
I'm a lot like you are.
Wait a
second. Okay, whatever.
So
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind.
Gordon Lightfoot, one of my favorite singers and performers. He's also a close personal friend of mine. Phone him and ask him. He'll tell you. You know, if Gordon were here tonight, and if he dressed himself, and if he played the piano, and if his favorite singer were Rod Stewart, you might hear something like this.
Wait, are you gonna have Thanksgiving though? Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a lot of time. We're gonna go see my uncle. I saw my uncle the other day. Oh, my uncle, he's having troubles. Conan.
Why is he having trouble?
You know my uncle Basil?
I don't know him.
No, but I've talked to him before.
Yeah, you've mentioned him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's having troubles. His memory's not too good. You know, and it's not. Thank God, it's not Alzheimer's or anything like that. But when a guy gets old, he starts forgetting. His memory starts, he doesn't, you know, remember.
Right.
So I went to him, you know, I went and talked to him, you know, and I said to him, because I heard he got this new medicine for his memory at the doctors.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, Uncle Basil, I said, how's that memory stuff working out, medicine? He says, it's going good. I said, what's it called, that medicine, memory medicine?
That memory medicine, yeah.
I said, what's it called? What's the name of it? He goes, oh, the name of it. What is it now? Again, I can't remember now. He says, what's the name of that flower you give to people? And I said, I don't know. What, a tulip? And he said, no, not a tulip. He said, it's what is it now? It's a kind of a flower people wear. I said, is it a carnation? I don't know, Uncle Basil. He says, no, what the hell is it called? It's red. I said, I don't know, a rose? He said, yes. He said, Rose, what's the name of that medicine that the doctor gave me?
You rapscallion.
Now listen, we want to talk about your uncle, because every time you come on the show, you have a story about your uncle who lives up in Canada.
Oh, yeah, he's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you always have like a little story about him.
Jean-Luc. Oh, yeah, he's a crazy character, that dude. He originally visited New York City. Hello?
I'm just having a drink. I can listen to you and have a drink. It's not like I went like this. Hold it. Ooh. Ah, liquid. Huh? I'm still here. Let's see if I got this right. You've got an uncle, lives up in Canada, named Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
Occasionally he visits. Once time he visited New York.
So I'm living in New York, you know? And Jean-Luc, I'm excited. Jean-Luc's going to come by, my crazy Frenchman uncle. So he gets in the cab, right?
When he gets to the airport.
Yeah, when he gets to the airport, the cab driver picks him up, and the cab driver says to him, "Hey, Frenchman," he says, do you like riddles, you know? So my uncle Jean-Luc is like, yes, I love the riddles. That's how he talks. He goes, I like nothing better than a riddle. So the cabbie's like, all right, here's one, right? So here's the riddle. His brothers and sisters, I have none, but this man's father is my father's son. So my uncle goes, I don't know. Right? So the cabbie goes, it's me. It's me.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Oh, he thinks about it. Oh, by God, he says, that's a good riddle there. He says, I have to tell my wife, Mary Claire, when I get back to Gaspé. That's where he lives, Gaspé.
Right.
So he's like, take me back to the airport. And the cabbie's like, what? Right? The cabbie's like, I thought you wanted to go visit Norm then. No. I go back to the airport. All right, you know, I have to tell Mary Claire. Seems odd, right?
Right.
Gets back on the plane, flies all the way back home there to Gaspé. And he gets back, right? Runs in the door. Mary Claire, where's vous? You know, where are you, Mary Claire? Come on down here. I have a riddle for you. She goes, oh, Jean-Luc, I love the riddle. She's a woman, high voice.
Michael Jackson was visiting. Yeah, all right.
So, you're going to love this riddle. How was New York? Forget about that. I got the riddle. Brothers and sisters, I have none. But this man's father is my father's son. She goes, I don't know. Who is it? Some cab driver back in New York.
You didn't mean to do that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Be honest, you didn't mean to do that.
At all. I just got to the end. That guy, man, I always tell my uncle, you shouldn't curse so much. You know?
Oh, man. All right. We're going to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
So, you got a week off.
Yeah, I got a week off coming up. After this show, I got a week off, so it's going to be great.
Do you see your family much?
Every break, I like to go back and see my folks, you know, and also my uncles and aunts and all that, you know. They're great people. The old people, you know, what I find about the old people is...
Just in general.
In general, they had so much more interesting lives than we do, you know. Like, you know what I mean? Like we, you know, we go out, our generation, we go, okay, hey, let's go to a movie, and then we'll do the laundry and get some quarters for the laundry, and then we'll read the Sports Illustrated, you know, and whatever, right?
Right.
But these guys, they had lives, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, for instance, my Uncle Phil. You ever meet my Uncle Phil?
I didn't meet your Uncle Phil, no.
Oh, you didn't? He was...
Yeah, we don't know each other that well. Remember?
That's true.
No,
so,
I've not met your Uncle Phil.
He's a good man, Uncle Phil. So he was telling me, you know, he's just one of these guys that has so many lives pushed into one. He just does so many things, you know? And he was telling me, he says, he's a kind of a jack of all trades, you'd call him.
Yeah. That's a good phrase.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades. So he was telling me, he said, the problem is you're not really appreciated for any single thing because you're so good at so many things. You understand what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah. So he said to me one time, he says, Norm, he says, we were just walking through his town, you know, of Monkland, Maine he lives in. And we were just walking through the town. He's an old fella, you know?
Right, one of the old people.
Yeah, he's 80.
Yeah. 80, okay.
80 years young, he says.
Uh-huh.
So he goes, Norm, you see that barn over there, he says to me. I look over, there's a barn. I go, yeah. He goes, I built that barn with my own hands, all by myself. But he goes, do they call me, do they say, there's Phil, the barn builder? No, sir, he says. I said, yeah. He goes, look over there, you see that weather balloon? He says, you don't know this about me, Norm. He says, I was one of the first men ever to fly in a weather balloon.
Wow.
He says, but do they say, hey, there goes Phil, the weather balloon pioneer? No. He says, look over there's a bakery that I started. You know, that dirty bastard Bob has it now, but I'm the guy that started that bakery. And I go, all right, easy. And he goes, I started that bakery and I was the best baker, but does anybody go, oh, there goes Phil, the great baker? No, he says, but he says, let me tell you something, Norm. He says, you have sex with one goat. And... He says, people then, they say, there goes Bill, the dirty goat.
Get rid of that. We don't need that microphone anymore, do we? Wow, well, I do want to meet this man someday. He sounds fascinating.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love.
Let me ask you quickly, we haven't talked to you in so long, I want to ask you about your family.
My great family. I love them all.
How's your, we used to talk in the old days, you and I used to spin some yarns about Uncle Hector. How's Uncle Hector?
Oh, Uncle Hector. Uncle Hector.
He's Polish too, I'm guessing.
No, he wasn't Polish.
Oh, okay.
No, he was from my cousin's side of the family. And he was a great man, my uncle, you know. Right. He was an old fella. He actually rode the rails during the Depression.
Oh.
You know, he was a hobo.
Hobo.
As you might call him. I don't like that term, but whatever.
Tramp or whatever, what have you.
Railroad bum. And, but he wasn't a bum. He was just out. He was a good, honest man during the Depression searching for work, you know. And, you know, he had no money, so he'd travel the country trying to find work, and he actually rode the rails, Uncle Hector. And he told me, it was an interesting story, he'd go through, this was in Canada, and there's a town called Kitchener in Canada, and the railroad cops were tough, boy. They were tougher than the real cops, you know. They had a law of their own, the railroad cops.
I feel like I should be tucked into bed listening to you. Anyway, a law of their own, those railroad cops.
But there was not a railroad cop tougher than Kitchener Leslie. Oh, boy. He was well known. He was well known for beating hobos to death.
Really? He'd find a hobo on his train, he'd beat him to death.
He'd beat him to death. And so what the railroad bums would all do is, as Kitchener approached, of course... Oh, hey, Alan. Hey, Norm. How you doing? So...
Wow, such focus on these stories.
That wasn't a mirror. That was another guy.
Oh, there's a guy named Norm.
Yeah. So the railroad bums would all hop off before they got to Kitchener to avoid being beaten to death by Kitchener Leslie.
Yeah.
Anyways, my Uncle Hector, a good man, you know, and he walked into a mine one day. This is a story for that they think the young people could learn from.
Don't go mine hopping, kids.
During the height of the Depression, where there was absolutely no work, my Uncle Hector walked into I won't say the name of the mining company. It was McIntyre Mine, and he walked in. He had his lunchbox with him and his work boots, and he said, "Sir," he said, "I want a job." And they said, "We have no jobs." He said, "Well, 500 people work here at McIntyre Mine." He goes, "I don't think there are 500 men here better than I." He says, "As a matter of fact, I don't think there are 200 men better than I." He says, I think you'd be strapped to find 100 men better than I. And by golly, he got the job. What do you think of that?
That's a great story.
Now,
I'm sensing there's more. Now back to Kitchener Leslie.
Yeah.
Most dreaded...
No. Uncle Hector.
What?
No, we
I'm
want to talk about
sorry, I'm
Uncle
trying to help you out.
No, Uncle Hector.
Dad, where's this story going?
Uncle Hector worked in a mine, and it's a hellish job, the mine, as you well know. Darkness, you know.
It's dank. It's
dank.
Yeah.
It's coaly. It's a lot of.
What?
Well, you're in a coal mine.
It's not coaly. It's coal-ridden.
It's
coal-infested. It's not coaly.
It's coal-infested. So he worked in the mine, and by God, he worked hard. And after a week of working hard, he said to the shift manager, he said, He said, by golly, I'd like to have a lady. I work hard, and where would I find a lady here in town? Well, they said to Uncle Hector, they says, we have sex with animals here. By God, says Uncle Hector, I'm not going to do that. I'm a normal fella. Well, then be to your own devices then. So,
be to your own devices?
Yeah.
Wow.
Uncle Hector continued working in the mine. He worked hard, and he worked long, and he worked for a low wage. But he was a man. And Uncle Hector, after a couple of weeks passed, he started to get a little itch, you know, as you and I say.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, no, when we're thinking about the
ladies,
yeah.
And but he kept it under control. He went again. He said, "Are you sure there's no ladies here?" "No, we have sex with animals." "Ah, my God." 6 months passed, and Uncle Hector couldn't take it any longer. He told me.
Right.
He said, "By God, I just had to. I'm just a man. I'm weak. You know. I'm not a saint. You know. And I was born in sin, I suppose, and I couldn't resist. I just needed it." So he said he walked by a pasture, and there was a pig.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. And so Uncle Hector said, well, he said, I walked up, and I began having sex with a pig. And he said, all of a sudden, he saw all the miners, like, around him, you know, looking at him. They go, "Uncle Hector, what the hell are you doing over there?" And Uncle Hector's like indignant. He's like, "What? Well, you're the guys that told me that you have sex with animals." They're like, "Uncle Hector, you damn fool. That's Kitchener Leslie's girlfriend." Of all the
animals to have sex with.
You don't want to have sex
with not with Kitchener Leslie's pig. No, that's terrible.
Not Kitchener Leslie's pig. Kitchener Leslie's lady.
Oh, yeah.
Dad would always tell this joke, and it was about a little boy called Dirty Johnny. You know, and he'd be in class. You ever heard Dirty Johnny?
The Dirty Johnny jokes, yes.
Yes.
Heard the whole series.
In this in this joke, he's not dirty. But anyways, the teacher has a thing, and the teacher says, "Today in class, we are going to have a little experiment. You're going to tell a story from your real life, and then afterwards, you are going to tell the moral of that story." You know? So Sheila puts up her hand, and the teacher says, "Sheila, what's your story?" So Sheila says, "Well, my dad works at the hatchery, and he took some eggs, and he put them all in a basket. All the eggs he put in one basket. And then he put them in the horse and buggy, and off we went to town, and the earth was uneven, and the eggs broke. And the teacher goes, "Well, that's an all right story, but I can't understand what the moral would be to that story." So Sheila says, "Well, the moral is, don't put all of your eggs into one basket." So the teacher says, "Well, by God, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and what I was hoping for with this experiment."
Yeah.
And anybody else have one? So Marjorie puts up her hand. "Okay, Marjorie, what's your story?" "Well, my father works for the hatchery." Most
Most people in that town worked in the hatchery.
Worked at the hatchery.
"Thank God for the hatchery," she says. Or where would we be? So she says, "My father, he sells chickens. And he knows that eggs become chickens." See what I mean? So he had to count his chickens so he could go and sell them in town. So he had 9 chickens and 5 eggs. So instead of saying he had 9 chickens, he added the 5 eggs. You see, he counted them as chickens. So he said, I have 14 chickens. So he took them, Sheila says, and put them in the horse and buggy, and off they went to town, but the land was uneven. The chickens survived easily. They frolicked. The eggs broke. Well, the teacher says again, that's a story, you know. But what on earth could the moral of that story be? Well, Sheila says, if that's her name, I forgot. She says, don't count your chickens before they hatch out of the eggs.
Right.
Teacher says you could probably shorten it a little. So, but that's great. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And then she looks at the back of the class, and by God, there's the upraised hands, as you say, fucking dirty Johnny.
Fucking dirty Johnny. He's going to ruin the lesson.
So the teacher, inside of her head, her thoughts are moving around, and she's like, God, I don't want to hear dirty Johnny say it. This is going so well, but at the same time, I took a vow and I became a teacher that every student... All right, Johnny, let's hear your story. So dirty Johnny gets up and he says, this is a story about my Uncle Terry. He didn't work for the hatchery. He didn't even like people that did. He was in Vietnam. And he lives on the disability checks he got. Uncle Terry was not a popular man, not even among those he worked with. And I suppose we've all heard of people who've deserted from their battalion. But I don't know if you've ever heard of a battalion deserting a man. That's what they did with Uncle Terry. One day, Uncle Terry awoke in the middle of Da Nang, and everybody was gone. He was alone, and they'd left him 3 bottles of Jack Daniels and some weaponry. So, Uncle Terry got up, says Dirty Johnny, and he downed the bottle of Jack Daniels in 2 slugs, and he threw it down and smashed it into the jungle. And then he walked, picked up the 2 Kalashnikovs and 3 or 4 Glocks and a couple of hand grenades, and off he walked into the unknown, the jungle, his fate. Came upon a village, and from the village came people. Now, were they Charlie, or were they the people that Terry was sent to protect from Charlie? Uncle Terry didn't know. But he knew he had to do something, so he took another swig from the bottle, and he let loose. Took that Kalashnikov, and he let it sway like a farmer would a scythe. And the bullets came, and just as hay would fall before a farmer, so the people fell before Uncle Terry. The men, the women, and by God, even the children. And finally, Uncle Terry stood alone in the mud and the blood and the guts and only at himself. He took a long swig, and his hand brushed against his pants, and he felt wetness, and then he felt shame because he realized he had urinated himself in fear. And then, upon closer inspection, he realized it was not urine. It's ejaculate. And his shame was replaced by pride. That teacher goes, holy fucking shit, what the fuck? Fucking kind of fucking story is that? Like, we just heard the hatchery and shit, and now this? She goes, Uncle Terry, well, Dirty Johnny, what on earth could be the moral to such a story? So Johnny thinks about it for a couple of minutes, and he goes, well, I don't know, I guess. Well, I know one thing. You don't fuck with Terry when he's had some drink in him. And he's uncorked the jug. You stay away from Uncle Terry. And he doesn't like anybody that works at the hatchery either. You remember that. You tell your parents that.
Wow. And then talk about a guy who picks good projects.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 60% of having a career like that.
Yeah. I read in
Bill
the
Murray's
Sting,
like that,
Bill
too.
Murray will do nothing. And you know another great thing about Bill Murray that I think was smart? He doesn't get work done. Like, he doesn't get plastic surgery.
Mm.
So his face looks super authentic.
Yeah.
And, like, you would think an actor would want that, like those lines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you could use that. Because I remember at the end of his life, Jackie Gleason got a facelift.
Yeah.
And it looked like, it was like, why wouldn't you want to use your old face? That would be super funny, you know? Instead of because you're not a leading man.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I think about Bill Murray. Everybody else gets ridiculous work done that makes them look young, and then Bill Murray gets to, look like an authentic.
Right.
Plus, he's a great actor. It's amazing that he took that route. You know, he did Razor's Edge, which was awful.
Oh, yeah.
But still was daring.
Yep.
Project. And I guess he just had all this money from Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did the exact opposite of Dan Aykroyd. It was always funny, like
Dan just kept chasing the big movies. Yeah. And then he did that crazy sitcom where he was a priest. And you're like, what happened here?
I was, they wanted me to do a thing on the show.
Oh, yeah.
On that show. It was one of those, cool priests, you know, and he drove a Harley and stuff. Like that really exists, you know? And so anyways, they sent me the thing. He's like, it's a really funny part, you know, Norm. And I'm like, well, I'll just do it, you know, because you're asking me, because you're the greatest. And then I got the script, and all I did was I was looking through the telescope, and I said, "Oh, I can see Uranus." And then he goes, "You can?" And he pulls, he pulls his pants, and I'm like, "Oh no, I don't want to say that." So I had to lie my way out of it to get out of doing this awful joke. But he told me it was great. One time when I had my sitcom, the showrunner goes, "Why don't we have a big star every week do the cold opening?"
Uh-huh.
And I go, "Oh, sure, yeah." And he goes, "You can get big stars, right?" I'm like, "No, I can't get anyone." And he goes, "But you know Sandler." I go, "I'm not going to ask Sandler, you know." And then I told my agent, I said, "Don't ask Sandler," because the showrunner kept phoning my agent. I go, "Because I don't want to blow a favor. I know he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it, and then he's going to think like I asked him for a favor. You know what I mean, kind of thing." So, you know, anyways, a few weeks later, my manager goes, "Oh, by the way, Sandler said he doesn't want to do it." I'm like, "Oh my God, I told you not to."
Yeah.
And then they said, they go, "We got Eddie Murphy on the phone." I'm like, "Why? What?" And they're like, "Yeah, for the cold opening." And I go, "What cold opening?" And so they hand me this script, you know. So I'm talking to Eddie Murphy, and I don't know Eddie Murphy. And he's being super zen-like, you know. He's an amazing guy because he's all zen and peaceful. And then he tells a story, and it's hysterical. All of a sudden he's doing voices. Because he was talking about being a director, and he goes real peacefully, you know. He was like, the directors in Hollywood are very tough to find one. Frank Oz was magnificent, but I was very unhappy with the other directors. Finally, I had to direct myself. I directed Harlem Nights. And the Red Fox was in it. And so Red Fox came to the show once, and he was having trouble with the IRS, and he owed all this money. So he kept trying to sell me things. And he would come to the set, and he would go. And then all of a sudden, he's super funny, right? After doing this real flat voice. And he goes, and then Red Fox would say, hey, Eddie, you like Elvis? I got Elvis's watch. How'd you like to buy Elvis's watch? Elvis, give me this watch. So I said to him, hey, Red, how long have you had Elvis's watch? He said, I had it for 40 years. I go, that's not Elvis's watch. That's Red Fox's watch. I ain't buying Red Fox's fucking watch. So he's like super funny. And then he'd go back again to be zen-like. So I said, so as I'm talking to him, I'm leafing through this fucking awful fucking shit of a cold opening that they're having him do. And so it's like, white guys writing for black guys, what they think they'd say. It's just awfully, horribly racist. And so he says to me, he goes, I'll do it. If you tell me it's funny, I'll do it. And I go, it's not funny.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do. We got, we got on the show though? We got Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor. His last appearance everywhere.
No shit.
Was on my television show.
Wow.
And big mistake. Like he showed up, he's in his last stages of MS.
Yeah.
And everyone was crying, because you look, his eyes, he would do that fear look even when he was acting and stuff, when he was doing his stand up. That's what he was like. It was just pure fear. It's like he's locked in the side, like begging to get out somehow, and it's so hard to watch.
Right.
So, and then his wife, she goes, listen, he's really nervous. Would you go up and tell him you love him, hug him, kiss him? I go, hug him and kiss him? He goes, yeah, you can show him affection. He's very fragile. So I go up and I hug him and I kiss him. I go, you're the greatest ever. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But it's just great that you're here and this. And then there's like two big black guys that are there, And one of the big black guys, like about 15 minutes later, goes, Richie thinks you're a faggot. So everybody's comic hero. And I'm like sexually molesting him pretty well. Because of his stupid wife.
Who would you trade places with for a day?
I guess Donald Trump.
Just for the money, or?
Yeah, just to know what it is to live in a palace and have thousands of people beat each other up.
And Melania.
And Melania gets thrown in the deal too.
Norm, I would consider you arguably maybe the best host of Weekend Update on SNL. I think you're one of the most beloved. I mean, I feel like I'm really crawling in. But anyways, if you were still hosting, what would you have to say about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Well, Donald Trump's like an interesting character because obviously what he's saying is resonating with the American public. Or he wouldn't be on top of the polls, right? And so if you have a clown saying these things, an utterly unlikable person saying these things, imagine if you had a charismatic individual, somebody with the charisma of Reagan or Bill Clinton saying something like this. Then you could be in dangerous territory, boy.
Could you do a little...
That was funny, huh?
Profound.
Norm?
It was profound. I thought you were going somewhere like leader of Germany. I didn't know where we were headed.
Yeah. You were just on Fallon the other night.
Yeah.
Trump was there. Did you guys talk a little bit?
Well, what happened was, first of all, I watched it. I thought it was fine. Then the next day they were like, Jimmy wasn't, it's Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to ruin his chance to get to host Face the Nation, you know? So, no, it was like, I was second guest, and he was first guest. First time I was ever second guest.
Really?
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to be really like surprised, like, oh, continue.
But it was Donald Trump, you know. So there's only like a couple of minutes between. So Donald Trump came out, and he was with the Secret Service guys. And I said, "Can I get a picture, Mr. Trump?" And so he's like, "Oh, yeah, I know you. I love you. Yeah, we'll get a picture." I knew him from before. He goes, "We'll get a picture. Just give me a minute." And then he turns around, he walks down the hall, and gets in an elevator.
You're still waiting.
Yeah, I was like,
you're like, best trick ever.
I know, it was like a Buster Keaton movie or something.
You gotta use that. That's a
You met Donald Trump when he was on The Tonight Show on Jimmy Fallon show. Now, tell us about that encounter you had with Donald Trump.
Well, I'd met Donald Trump many, many times in New York City, just because when I was doing Saturday Night Live, he was a fixture in New York City, and he'd come to a lot of the shows, and he was just a local eccentric, you know, that people mostly loved in New York because he fixed the rink in Central Park when the city couldn't. But no, when I was on Jimmy Fallon, that's when Jimmy Fallon tousled his hair and got in trouble for it, and I was the other guest. So I was just out in the hallway, and I said, "Donald, can I have a picture?" You could call him Donald then. I guess you can still call him Donald. We don't have to call him President, apparently. But I said, "Could I get a picture with you?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely, sure, Norm." And then he walked down the hall and got in the elevator with the Secret Service guys. So, but he was just doing it as a joke. A lot of times, the problem with candidates or political candidates that do comedy is obviously comedy doesn't translate well to the page sometimes, you know. Sarcasm is lost, obviously, and things like that. So if someone says something that's meant self-disparagingly or satirically, and you want to take it out of context, you can. And that happened a lot of times with Trump on the campaign trail.
But, you know, he's being caricatured on Saturday Night Live, like, quite mercilessly by Alec Baldwin. Like, is it funny to you? Is that funny?
No. The only reason I don't find it funny, when I was there, Darrell Hammond did Donald Trump, and that shows how far back Trump goes, because that was 20 years ago. But Darrell did him then. It was a softer Trump, you know. I think it was a Trump that was a lot closer to his real self. But the problem is, if you do an impression of someone, you have to like that person, you know, because you're playing the person, and people like themselves. So you can't play someone and have contempt for them at the same time. You know, it doesn't work as an impression. So I don't like his impression, and I have no political affiliation. I just mean from a comedy level.
Where is the funny in Donald Trump? Because he does think he's funny, right?
Yes, but other people think he's funny too. I attended one of his just to see, you know, because I wanted to see it for myself. His performances in front of these grand halls, and he's enormously funny and entertaining. And I don't know that there's normally. With politicians, you know, it takes, you need to be humble, you know, to be really funny. And I think that's why Ronald Reagan was the funniest president that I ever saw, because he always had this humility to him. I was kind of lost with President Obama, because people told me he was funny, but to me he was too self-aware. And of course Hillary couldn't have been more strident, you know. And I think people don't vote on issues as much as they just vote on who they'd like that old saw about who you'd rather have a beer with, you know. And nobody wanted to have a beer with Hillary Clinton, you know.
You say that that one person has to be humble to be funny, but I don't think Donald Trump is very humble, is he?
No, there's no humility to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is more funny in the way that a WWE wrestler is, you know. So he is a different kind of funny, which is a sort of a self-deluded, I don't know if it's self-delusion though. I don't know if it's all, I think it's just all an act. I don't think really that Trump ever wanted to be president. I think that he was always just playing to be president or whatever that hall he was playing in was, you know. And I've seen this happen with comedians too, that you start thinking you're good because the people that come to see you all like you, you know. But the reason they came to see you is because they like you. So politicians and comedians both make that mistake of thinking they're much better than they are because they're never criticized by the people that don't like them. That's why social media is so good, because you can see the people that don't like you at all.
I listened to an interview you gave Larry King, and you said the ruin of Donald Trump will be his addiction to playing the halls, right? So he's a great performer. He just wanted to be you, like he wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and he just accidentally became a president?
My guess would be that his plan was to make a big splash, lose, oh, that's not good. What should we do now, Joyce?
Just don't answer, okay? If it's possible.
No, I won't answer.
Yeah.
So should I start answering that question again?
Sure.
Yeah, I think him becoming president surprised him. I think, you know, it's funny that people don't remember, but back in the debates, there was a big issue with Donald Trump saying if he lost, it meant the election. God damn. Are you kidding me? I know, I did. Oh, 1 second. Hello? Yes. Oh, I gotta call you back. I'm on the TV, man. Yeah, I'm on the TV right now. Oh my God. Oh, but I'll call you right back. Sorry.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you the question again.
I feel that Trump. Personally, I feel that he didn't think he was going to become president. And interestingly, the thing that people don't remember was that, but I remember, was that during the debates, there was all this talk of Donald Trump saying, if he loses, it means the election is rigged. And all the media were saying, no, that's impossible. You know, take that back. You cannot say that about the American Republic. No election here could ever be rigged. That's impossible. And of course now they're saying the exact opposite. But I think it was Trump's idea at that point that he would say it was going to be rigged, thinking he thought Hillary was going to win, I think. And then he would start a network or something like that where he could speak and be the loyal opposition of his own, you know, something different than Fox.
Let me ask you this. So your Bob Dole imitation was pretty famous back in the day. So would you do Donald Trump today? Would you do a Donald Trump imitation?
I try to not do comedy about Donald Trump because I think I had one joke about Donald Trump that I ever did where I said that Americans hated Hillary Clinton so much that they voted for someone they hated more than Hillary Clinton to rub it in. And that's the only time I ever made a joke about Trump. But I try to stay away from it because it's just, you know, it's low-hanging fruit, and also, you know, Trump oftentimes is doing self-parody, and nothing looks dumber than if you parody self-parody. You know, you really get caught not understanding.
So comedy in the time of Trump, is it more difficult than it was when you were on Saturday Night Live?
It's more difficult in the time of Trump for good comedians, and it's way easier for bad comedians. You know, you don't have a worldview by just saying you don't like Trump. You know what I mean? That doesn't count. Like you can't just say I hate Trump, and that makes you a good person. And the Democrats just can't say I hate Trump, and that means they have a position. You know, that's no position. So for idiots, it's an easier time because you go, well, that guy's the idiot, not me. But if you try to do smart comedy, it's better to stay away from Trump. You know.
Norm MacDonald, thanks so much for being with us today, for spending this time with us. It was great. Great to see you.
Great to see you. I love you, Joyce.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Donald
short
Trump.
joke? Donald Trump. Oh,
Donald Trump.
But I thought you don't tell
Donald Trump joke.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I want to get in. You know,
Are you a supporter of Donald Trump, or are you against Donald Trump?
I'm against Donald Trump.
Okay. All right.
Donald Trump goes into
a bank? No.
Bar. He goes into a bar.
Does he fuck a frog?
No.
I can believe that.
No.
You know, Donald had his. He played pretty. He played
Donald
around.
Trump goes into a bar and he says, bartender says, "What's up, Donald Trump?"
Yeah.
And Donald Trump goes, "I tell you something." He says, "I got me a genie." You know, he says, "I got one of them lamps. I rubbed it. Goddamn, the genie didn't come out. Gave me 3 wishes." Bartender says, "What'd you wish for?" He said, "Well, first thing I wish for, all the money in the world. I got it. You know, I'm a billionaire. Then what else do you wish for?" "I wish for all women in the world." He says, "Got all these women. Married the most beautiful woman I've ever met." And the bartender says, "Oh man, that's great." And he said, and then Donald Trump goes, "But I did fuck up a little." You know. He says, "How'd you fuck up?" He goes, "Oh, I wish for a giant pumpkin head."
Look at you.
That's a crazy.
What do you do? You sit home all day and write these things?
I'll tell you this. A guy in a bar told me a joke that I thought was one of the funniest jokes about Donald Trump. Is an old Mexican fella, and he runs a bookstore, you know. And he's been in the country his whole life. He's worked hard for the American dream, and now he has a bookstore, you know. He saved all his money from all the terrible jobs he had to do because he came over here illegally, but he became a great citizen and a great man of the United States. And I'm here at the pleasure of the United States from Canada. And so this Mexican guy has saved his money and has opened a bookstore. And he's happy about this. Big, fat, white guy comes in, redneck, you know. He goes, "You got Donald Trump's latest book?" And the Mexican, you know, he's taken this his whole life, you know. You can notice by the slope of his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he says, "No, sir, I did not have it." Quietly, you know, but with great dignity. Big fat guy adjusts his belt buckle. Says, "Don't you even understand what I'm saying? Goddamn Mexican. You even speak English?" Says, "Well, sir, I believe I'm speaking fluent English to you right now." "Yeah, well, maybe not." "Anyways, you got the goddamn Donald Trump book, or don't you?" He says, "I've explained to you, sir." He says, I'm not going to ask you this again." He goes, "You got that goddamn book, or don't you?" Now, this old Mexican man has finally taken all the outrage that he has held within him throughout his whole life, being treated like a second-class citizen in a country that he pays taxes, boils over, you know. And he addresses this big fat redneck, and he goes, "Listen, pal, because I want you the fuck out of here. I never want to see you in this fucking place again. I don't welcome you. You suck. I fucking hate you. Get out." The guy says, "That's it. Is it in soft cover or is it only in hard? Because my wife, I want to get it for the wife, but I don't want to pay for the hard cover."
What name do I see here? Norman MacDonald cold calling me? What's up, Norm?
What, are you eating some toast?
I was eating toast in the commercial and I just sucked some down the wrong pipe and I'm a little dry. You pick it up and run with it. What's up, Norman?
Nothing. I just wanted to talk about some in the news. Here's the story. I got up early today to take my son to school.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was so early in the morning. And I said, what can I do? I can either, have a coffee, or I can be in show business.
Mm-hmm. So you called in.
So I called in because you're one of the only guys in show business at 7 in the morning.
It's a bridge and tunnel thing, exactly.
No, but listen, man, I want to talk about the news,
Even though newscasters are up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
You have to go to a comedian.
Listen, I used to get the stories ripped from the headlines. That's where I get my jokes.
Yes, I see.
Now I get them. I typed directly from the www. I don't know, but no. This is what happened. I was on the airplane. Do you ever you ever hear a story that means you have no reference to the story ever at all?
Yeah, sure I do.
So I got off the airplane, and the guy says to me, because everything moves so fast. The guy says, "You hear what happened?" I go, "What?" "With the baby and the hot air balloons." They're like, "What? Are you telling me a joke?" It sounded like the guy was going to tell me one of those great old jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a rabbi, a priest, and a nun walk into a bar. That's the same sort of start. You hear about the baby and the hot air balloon.
I'm like, no, what? You never know. You don't know if the guy's putting you on.
Right.
And he's like, and he goes, the guy? I go, who's the guy? As if I would know the guy.
Right.
He goes, the guy from Wife Swap. Like, like I'm the moron for not
putting these.
I said, Wife Swap? He goes, well, Wife Swap too. And he's like, his attitude was like, where have you been?
Yeah, well, the amazing thing is that you're so much of an adult, you can't put this disparate list of ingredients together. Baby, hot air balloon, Wife Swap 1. No, Wife Swap 2. Where do you take it from there, Norman?
Well, I know kids love rides.
Yes.
But I will say about the whole hot air balloon industry, I've never been I don't know, man. I've never been one to say, hey, I'd like to go up on a balloon with a blazing fire underneath me. It seems like there's about 7 ways you could end up perishing. There's only one way you could survive.
The only people who have ever pitched it historically were Forbes magazine, Malcolm Forbes, and Jules Verne. They're the only people who ever made hay off the hot air balloon. Everybody else, you're right, has ended up on Mysterious Island.
Don't you think Malcolm Forbes, he's like, hey, man, maybe if I go up on this hot air balloon all the time, people will think of me as a hot air balloon guy and not a secret fruit.
Well, everybody has their motives. I think you might have laser locked on those. So you're not sending your boy up in a...
myself in that.
Oh, you're not sending your own son up in the hot air balloon, Norm?
No way, man. No, my son's just into regular boyhood things, bungee jumping.
Right. Indelible paintball.
Yeah, he likes to cut himself because he says it makes him feel something. I'm like, what's wrong with feeling nothing like everybody else?
Norman, it's good to hear your voice, buddy. What do you got coming up? Anything?
Oh, man, I'm going to be at the what? All those names, you know?
Well, get them to Christian. I'll read them, man. I hate to make you do your biz, but I'll do it after the break. I got to take one now. Thank you for cold calling us, baby. I appreciate that. The great Norm MacDonald. Why doesn't he just feel nothing like the rest of them?
Man, I was in the airplane. I was flying, and you know they have those. I was saying about I know what I was talking about the emergency exit rows. Because the stewardess, that's where we all got into this mess in the first place. The stewardess or the flight attendant comes to you, and the flight attendant says to you, listen, in case the plane crashes and a flood of gray-black smoke races down the fuselage towards your lungs. Would you mind letting everyone else out before you? And then you say, yes, I will do that. Funny thing is, I was going to ask you if I could do that. That's the funny thing. Before you asked me, I was going to ask you because I feel it's well worth the extra 1.5 inches of leg room. Stop. Meanwhile, in real life, I'd be fucking kicking my own mother. I got the fuck out of here, you old whore. You lived a full life, goddammit. I used to be on TV. What the fuck? I get to go out first. Here's the thing. Also, that airplane, right? When that crashes, when the plane crashes, I feel that window may change locations. Like it might no longer be right beside you after the 9,000-mile-an-hour collision or whatever the fuck it is. I know it goes down fast and hard. I was listening to you listen to those warnings, and I guess I just block my ears to them because I've heard them so often. But there's one I'm sure you guys have all heard of, but for some reason I missed it. It says if the oxygen mask comes down, they go, if the oxygen mask comes down, be sure to put it on your own face before you put it on the face of your little child. And I was like, God damn, that was my plan. You have to blab it to everybody. But anyway, I think it's just to make you feel better because, the things they tell you, They go, by the way, in case of a big crash, don't forget that your seat cushion is also a boat. Who the fuck believes that? Go, hey, honey, man, you're going to be cheap at the cottage this year. I just bought us 5 boats. And of course, that never happened. You ever hear fucking, hey, you turn on the news, hey, a plane crashed in the Pacific. But don't worry, everybody floating around on their fucking boats. They listen to the lady. Everything's cool, everything's fine. No, everything's, you have no chance. If a plane crashes, right? Think about this. You ever see a plane crash? They take pictures of it, videos. They don't care. And that's because you never see a body in a plane crash. And that's because the speed vaporizes everything so that there's nothing that even resembles a human being. It's just a whole bunch of, it's stuff. It's stuff. That's what it is. It's a plane load of stuff. They go in, they go, God damn, there's a lot of stuff in this fucking plane. And then, the loved ones of the victims, they want the stuff. They don't call it stuff, they call it remains. It's a nice word for stuff. Ashes to ashes, stuff to stuff. They want the remains, and I understand that, you know what I mean? Like they go, oh, God, man, I can't get to sleep because my firstborn Mitchell, I love him so much, I can't even get to sleep because I keep thinking of his final minutes on that airplane. And if only I could see his remains. I'd get a good night's sleep then. With that picture imprinted on my head. That'd be just like an Ambien. I'd be almost... Then I could put this whole thing behind me. And you're not going to get the real remains. It's not like they go on the plane and go, hey, look at that strawberry blonde lock of hair. I bet that belongs to Agnes from sitting over there. Didn't you find her shin bone earlier there, Jen? Put that over there. Reconstruct that. What the fuck, are you crazy? They just go on the plane. They go, holy fuck, look at all this stuff. And then they go, here's the ID. It says NORM MACDONALD, 190 pounds. Okay, shovel 190 pounds of stuff into a bag. Let's go. Daylight's burning. Stamp Norm on the side of that one and send it off to his mother. His mother wants to see it. And then my mother gets it and goes, oh, excellent. Good. Wow. Now I can look back and laugh at it. Hey, I don't remember Norm having 3 eyeballs. I guess none of us really knew him after all. Each one a stranger from the other.
Is this a really good question, Norm? Here's a familiar face for
No,
you,
it's a
Blake.
question from Blake's good friend, Norm. No, Blake, it's fun watching you this year. Wasn't it cool?
Yeah.
Thank you. And I was wondering, like, there's a kind of a curse with Rookie of the Year. Nobody's ever repeated it.
I didn't think about that. Well, I'll try as hard as I can next year, but
All right, man.
I don't know. Thank you for that question, though. That's going on top of the goals for next year.
Dennis Rodman was a guest.
Dennis Rodman, right.
And so we thought it'd be funny if he headbutted me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he headbutted me, but he did it really hard, you know?
Do we have a, I think actually someone supplied the clip. This is, you're not kidding around, and this is a real clip of what happened. Let's show that, Liz.
If you plan to be here next fall doing book reviews, I expect to see a major attitude adjustment. You know, and while you're at it, a more conventional hairstyle and some clothes, for God's sakes. You're going to have to learn that there is such a thing as rules, Dennis Rodman. Rules. Do you understand that?
Sure. I understand.
Oh, good.
That's the way it is. Good night and have a good weekend.
Wait a minute. It did look like he,
Yeah, that really...
You heard that. You hear that dull thud of like skull on skull.
Yeah,
It really...
Yeah, and I don't have like a strong head. I haven't been working it out lately.
Really?
But he has like an athlete's head, you know? But no, beforehand he said, like, I said, hey, don't hit me with your head, or no, you know, don't really hit me. And he goes, no, Al. He goes, he had this thing where he was going to put his thumbs, and as soon as he touched my thumbs, I go back, and then he got all excited and headbutted me. So, like,
so did you feel him like pull the thumbs back, and then real head was coming in at you?
And so I like blacked out for like a minute, and then the next day I had this huge headache, so I thought I was going to die, you know? And so I went to the hospital. I went to I don't want to say the hospital, but I went to this hospital and to emergency, you know, and they're all like, they're the craziest guys in emergency, all like crack. Everybody's on crack, you know? Every emergency is a guy on crack.
Yeah.
So I went in and they go like, hey, how much crack do you have, you know? And I go, I'm not on crack. And they go, what happened? I go, Dennis Rodman headbutted me. On the TV. He headbutted me on the TV. So they go, yeah. Right.
How much crack,
Yeah.
So
The
what
funny
happened? Would they anything wrong?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They said, like, you can't tell. They said, like, the only way you can tell is if later on, if you go to sleep and you don't wake up. Yeah.
That's why you didn't mention the name of the hospital.
Yeah, I don't want to mention it. I didn't know this, too. If you go to emergency, you got to pay. They keep sending me bills, like all kinds of bills.
You thought it was free, that you could just go there and...
Yeah. I'm from Canada. It's all free there.
Oh, okay.
Good. Now, you were going to bring your son, your boy.
Oh, my son was so excited to come. You know, he knows nothing about entertainment or show business because, you know.
Yeah.
And,
I guess.
but he loves sports, you know. He's a basketball fanatic. He loves it. A beautiful little 10-year-old boy I have, and he was very excited because Charles Barkley.
Charles was supposed to be here.
Yeah. And apparently he was afraid to fly in with the fire.
Yeah.
So. So, anyways, I had to phone him at his school today, and he had all his Charles Barkley cards, you know, and everything. He collects them, and he was so excited. And I said, "Oh, Charles not going to be here," you know, and he was sad.
And then...
well, we tried to get Karl Malone.
I know. And then you guys phoned. You said, hey, Karl Malone's going to be here. So then I phoned him back at school. I said, hey, Dill, guess what? Karl Malone's going to be here. And he was really excited, you know, because he has all his cards, too, and he loves Karl Malone. Yeah. So he was real excited. And then Karl Malone's not coming.
No.
So then they phoned me. They go, it's going to be Jillian Barberie. So I phoned my boy, and I got, you know, he's in school. I said, hey, Charles Barkley's not going to be here, and Karl Malone's not going to be here, but Jillian Barberie is going to be here. And then he said, is she a point guard for the Warriors or something? And I said, no, she's a lady.
Yeah. You know, when he gets older, I think he'll appreciate her more.
Yeah.
As you get older.
Hey, Alexei. So you're the guy that made Tyra look like a fat lady, right?
Sure am.
Excellent. Okay, well, make me look like that guy.
You got it.
Yeah. You work the face, I'll work the body. Oh. That's not Blake Griffin-y enough. Come on, man. More Blake Griffin-y. Now I'm going to find out what it's like to be Blake Griffin. First, I'm going to fool his teammates. Stupid door. I'm Blake Griffin, and you are?
Your good friend and teammate, DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, my good friend DeAndre Jordan, of course. So what time's rehearsal?
You mean practice, right?
Yeah, practice.
What's up with your voice?
What's up with your voice? I'm open. Ow! Not so hard, man.
All right.
Hit me. Sky hook.
Are you all right? Blake, we haven't started.
I gotta quit smoking.
Smoking? What's up with you today, man?
Still got my defense.
Blake, that's a foul. You can't slap me.
Says who? I got an idea. This always works.
Just jump up there and get it.
No. Yeah. Woo. Oh! Jeez! I don't know what's going on here. My heart is beating so fast.
You all right?
I think I pulled part of my leg that's underneath the top part. Sweet Cordy Howe. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Sorry I'm late. Somebody burned my house down.
Oh no. I gotta start working out. Stupid door. Oh, I just got this memo from the network. It says they're happy with the show's format, but they just have one note. It looks like from now on they want us to be a Western? Up yonder in Pawnee Ridge, it's the Youngers gang.
I don't take kindly to ambushes.
You know what cat's sidewinders?
Yellow-bellied varmints.
That was a smart chunk of shooting there, Tiny.
I'm just happy we got Miss Bonita's money back.
Hell, what kind of wicked critter would steal the life savings off a dance hall girl?
Marshall, behind you! Ah! Dang!
Hell's bells, I've been bit in the posterior.
What do we do now?
Well, you go see Princess Big Medicine at the Indian Village. Hell, she knows all the cures better than any doctor.
Princess, ma'am, the marshal has been bit by some serpent.
You must suck out the poison with your mouth. This is the only way. Now go. Go with the wind.
Tiny, you're back. What did Princess Big Valley say?
Oh, man, she said,
Well, what did she say?
She said you're gonna die.
Well, at least I got my boots on. That's the most a cowboy can ask for.
What in tarnation?
Hey, the network says they have a memo for you.
Says here, we didn't say Western. We said we wanted more about the Western Conference Finals. What a damn fool misunderstanding.
Okay, that's it?
It's a wrap.
Taz, we out of here.
All right.
See you later.
I guess I'll have to get me some of them fancy reading glasses.
Any last request before we shoot both you?
Well, I'd sure like to hear some country music. Twangier the better.
Okay, we can do that.
How about you?
Yeah, shoot me first.
Well, what else is going on? You went back? Did you get in the holiday spirit? Are you a kind of guy that gets, you know,
I try to do something nice, you know? You ever try to do something nice?
No.
Oh.
It's not my style, Norm.
But it was Christmas in New York, you know, and I was alone. So anyways, there was a diner that I always go to near my house. It's a really nice diner. And so I went there, and there was this homeless bum there, you know?
Just say a homeless guy. It's not politically correct to say bum. But I can't say homeless bum.
No, I thought they didn't like to be called bums.
Yeah, right. A homeless guy, yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so, okay. There was
I'm not going to let you get to this story. I'm just going to keep giving you a hard time about bums. You meet a bum, a hobo, a tramp.
A tramp, yeah. He had a little stick with a thing on it.
He was from the 1930s. Yeah, okay.
And so he says to me, he says, can I get some money off you? And I don't like giving the homeless bums money. I'll tell you why. Because I figure they'll do the crack. Right?
They'll do the crack.
Yeah,
okay.
my mom says never give a homeless bums money because they'll go do the crack. So I said, okay. I said, I don't want to give this guy money. He'll go do the crack. I said, why don't I just bring you in the diner, you know, and I'll get you a meal. I'll buy you a meal. It's Christmas, you know, it'll be nice. So the guy goes, okay. So we go in the diner and we order, you know, the meal. And this guy just keeps ordering food, you know, like he's really hungry.
Yeah.
And so he orders and orders and orders, and I'm like, well, you know, you got to be nice, got to the, you know, thing.
Sure.
And so I order like a soup or something, and then all of a sudden, like, this unbearable stench comes off the guy, huge stench.
Really?
It smelled like
That's okay.
Anyway, so I don't know what the smell was. But
Yeah.
It was like, it was like human waste or something, you know? And it seemed to be coming from the guy's, like, trousers.
Norm, I said that's okay.
Okay.
I was like, the stench is enough. We all can do the rest in our heads.
Yeah, so this stench fills the diner, right? So I have to go to this diner, right? So everybody's looking at me like, what the hell did you bring a homeless bum in the diner for? With a stench, you know? So I'm like, I'm trying to eat my soup. I can't even eat it. And I'm wishing I'd bought this guy crack. I wish I'd got, you know what I mean? I wish I'd gone found some crack and bought it for the guy. So, anyways, and everybody hates me. The guy that, you know, I go there every day. And so then the end of the meal comes. This guy's ordered everything, and I'm looking at my wallet. I only have like 28 bucks. It was like 31 bucks. All I had was a soup. And so now basically we're two homeless bums, you know? Neither of us. So I go, look, buddy, and he's been jabbering about Rockefeller. He was at Rockefeller's funeral. I didn't know what he was talking about. And I go, look, buddy, you got to come up with something here, you know? Kick in something.
You want him to? Yeah, that's only fair.
He ate almost everything. I had a soup. He was having a hamburger. So the guy goes in his pocket, and then I didn't want him to. Who God knows what he has in his pocket, right? But he had some coins, and they were all gross, and they were like some of them were black. Anyway, that's my Christmas story.
Man! Wow! What a yarn spinner! You're a regular Garrison Keeler over here. And some of the coins were black. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. And you close the book and kiss your child good night. That's a nice story.
We've been down this road together. We've been seeing the colors fade.
I took a homeless guy and said, I'm going to take you to this diner that I always go to. So I go there with him, you know, into this diner, sit down to get me a meal. Good God, if the guy, the unbearable stench of urine starts coming off this guy. So nobody wants that in a restaurant, you know?
You don't want that.
So I'm like, all right, everybody's like trying to eat, you know? So the guy orders his food, and I'm trying to talk to him. He starts telling me about how, this is his idea of a conversation, this guy. Starts telling me about how Governor Rockefeller is poisoning the pigeons, right, in the city. So I tell this guy, I go, what are you, retarded? I said, Governor Rockefeller, I said, the governor of this state is Pataki, Governor Pataki. He says, no, you know, he talked weird. He was like, the pigeon. He says, the pigeons are the cleanest animal you ever seen. I go, I'm not arguing with you, buddy, but I'm telling you, the governor's name is Pataki. That's unbelievable. He's crazy. Turned out he wasn't retarded. He was, you know, woo.
Here's Norm's son, Dylan. Yeah.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to say that my father loved dogs, and he loved the second annual HCA Award. and that ever since he was a kid in the Ottawa Valley, he always wanted to win a second annual HCA Awards, and also to have a dog.
Thank you.
Remember, kids, a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. Unless he has candy, in which case he's probably a pedophile. So, maybe not that one. But I'm on a seafood diet. I see food, and if it's a fish, I eat it.
Meta.
Yeah.
I hate meta.
It's tough though. There's so much sex. I know you got a family. You got a kid, right?
Yeah, I got a beautiful little kid.
How old is he?
He's 3. He's the greatest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is he like what? I mean, what? Let's just end there. How's your son? You guys having fun together? You doing?
Oh yeah, we went to Disney World last week in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is great, man. Yeah. There are all these like Goofy's there. And Mickey Mouse, and Pluto, and Chip and Dale.
Yeah, oh, Chip and Dale. Sure.
Yeah, they're all there, and they don't like wander around like they used to.
No.
They keep them in like one place, and you have to line up to get, and even give autographs. You know, what the hell you want an autograph from? So yeah, you get an autograph from a bitter college student making $4 an hour. You know? But I didn't stand in line. That was an hour line to get an autograph from one of these guys. So what I did is I got autographs from some of the characters that my kids weren't aware of that are at Disneyland. Like I got an autograph from Security Man guy and Mr. Popcorn Stand. You know, they had a weird thing in that thing. There was a guy was taking a picture with his kid, and how Goofy was there, you know. Or no, it was Mickey Mouse.
Right.
And Mickey Mouse was taking a picture with a little 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old's father was taking the picture, and the kid like slipped out of Mickey's hands and fell down. And fortunately, Mickey has giant shoes, so it protected the child from smashing into the concrete. And it hit it. He bounced off the shoe, you know. And then there was bedlam. Everybody was like scared and everything, and everybody was worried and yelling. And meanwhile, Mickey has this big smile on his face. He doesn't know. You can't change his expression, you know. All he can do is like go.
You have a son also?
I have a son, yeah, a little older. He's, I want to say, he's 10 or 15.
Yeah.
The point is this. I want to give you a little advice. First of all, they get less cute.
Oh. Norm, I remember years ago you told me that you were there for the birth of your son, and I always remember this. And you said that was the most exciting thing you had ever participated in. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. And then what happened?
I took crystal meth.
That's family
great
time.
pleasure in my son being happy.
Ah.
Yeah.
Hmm. How old is your son?
He's, what, 10, 15?
You liar! He's 6. He's a 6-year-old. You just about you had sex in the last 10 years.
No, my son's 16 years old. He's 6. No, he's 16 years old.
He's 16.
Yeah.
So is he a confidant? Do you call him and, do you ever share personal, trials and tribulations and triumphs?
I would never do that to a child.
He's 16.
Well, I mean,
As you have said, he can't be a child forever. When are you going to put the hard realities of life on him?
Well, that's an interesting question. That is an interesting question because I actually have love for my son.
Yes.
Like deep,
of course.
deep love.
He's your son.
And so I don't want to damage him with
the way you were damaged.
With the harsh realities.
I was damaged. No, I had a great.
No,
but I don't want to damage him with any viewpoints I may have because he's not ready yet for reality. I think children aren't ready for reality for a while. But I do tell him that education is pointless and things like that.
What does his mother say?
She thinks that he should go to college and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should.
And you're
Not
like,
everyone can grow up
don't
and be
waste
a
your money.
comedian.
Yeah, I'm saying it's just arbitrary nonsense. I tell him even the classes he takes now, it's just ridiculous. That algebra has no meaning and none
Unless
of this
he
stuff
becomes an engineer.
Well, unless he becomes.
Do you have no hope for this child?
Unless he becomes a math professor. But I mean, you think it's a coincidence that they have 6 subjects out of 10 billion that they teach in school?
And then you pick one of the 10 billion to focus on.
No, you have to.
You
they
need
don't
basic
teach you
math.
10 billion.
You need basic language. It's lovely when the school has art or music, which none of them do anymore. A little PE to keep us from getting fat. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, they have
little
some good
science,
ones.
some of the basic science stuff. Sure they do. Of course they do.
No, I tell him if he wants to go to college, he should have a goal, to be.
He can't. He's 16. No kid at 16 has a goal. Their goal is to be a rock star.
Or have sex.
Well,
right. I mean, that's actually the goal.
Does he want to have sex? Or did you tell him, don't bother with that? There's nothing for you in that. It's just repetitive. It's over and over. Same thing.
Discuss something like that with him. I hold him in too high esteem to discuss it.
We're super short on time. I've already missed my traffic thing. I'm fascinated. I don't know whether to slap you or hug you. Like, seriously, I feel like someone needs to shake you and knock some sense into you. We are going to take a short break.
Or maybe you.
What?
Maybe you.
Knock sense into me? No, I'm doing fine. I'm good over here.
Oh, me too.
No, you're not. I'm telling you. I know from broken people, Norm MacDonald.
I was at a party with a friend and I noticed you first, and you returned my gaze, knew how to quench my thirst. You took me to that room like a dream come true. The dance you performed was just for me and you. Kisses on the neck, then you work your way down. Let yourself go for me all around town. Seductively stood before, but it feels so good.
What are the best things in your life right now?
The best thing is my son. Still, did you see Django Unchained?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You remember when Leonardo DiCaprio and the boys were sitting around watching
Yes,
the
they
slaves
have the Mandingo
fight to death.
fight, yeah, awful.
Yeah, awful.
Ah, he's not doing what I told him, for God's sake.
Bravo Luigi, così dai! Dai che sei più rapido!
Come on now, boys! A fight to the death!
But isn't that what boxing is?
No.
You and your rich friends, you go to Vegas, you say, bring up those poor black people from the ghetto. In the ghetto.
I don't think that's the requirement.
And a mother cry.
I don't think that you have to be African American.
You have to be poor.
Okay.
No.
It just so happens, I think. Maybe because that's a way out for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think it's cool that rich people pay money to watch two poor people fight to the death?
Well, if they're good, they won't be poor anymore. Mayweather was one of the top paid athletes last year.
Yeah. Yeah, and he lost it all on the Jaguars.
This car costs $3.2 million. This Bugatti right here costs $1.6 million. You ain't seen these
I
toys?
haven't seen these?
No.
What? Floyd, this is 7 cars, man. Silver, platinum, Miami, black, LA, white, Vegas.
Yeah.
I thought we were going over my credits, and you've lured me into a discussion. You put me on the side of the argument.
I'm trying
of
to
a rich
say,
white person oppressing young black males into boxing. I don't know how I got that.
Let's go back to Saturday Night Live.
All right.
Because it was always a mystery to me why you were fired. I had my own theory. It's a rather shallow theory.
I'd love to hear your theory.
You were bald.
Oh, that would not make it an issue.
That would be the worst reason ever. I grasped onto that you were bald. You know what I mean? The way that conspiracy theorists go, by God, one disturbed 24-year-old could not have taken down Camelot. I think the same way with you. Why were you fired?
Was Oswald 24?
He was an overachiever.
He looked older than 24.
I look at the poster and for Anchorman 2, and what do I see on the poster? Paul Rudd. Who else do I see? Will Ferrell. Who else do I see?
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Who else do I see? David Koechner. 3 multimillionaires.
I'm not multi-million. Do you think I'm really wealthy?
No, I said 3 multimillionaires.
Oh, 3. Listen, folks.
Name me another guy that had that many characters in the first year of Saturday Night Live, bar Eddie Murphy.
Well, I'll bet you Mike Myers did.
First year? Mike Myers, first year? Nothing.
Nothing. Why do I keep getting put
You're
on
not a
this
bitter
side,
man. You're not bitter.
This side of these arguments?
Well, you must. Your father had something to do with turkeys. I was told. A little birdie told me.
He was a manufacturer of turkey coops.
What is your favorite project you've ever worked on?
This.
I want to talk about Del Close.
Favorite project I've ever worked on? There's tons. There's tons of them.
Yeah.
A recent one, and this is not just.
So you don't understand the word favorite.
Wow. Is this called Norm's Hot Box today?
This guy, Pee Wee Sherman 300 is his name. He says, in a few words, tell us why Second City is so much better than the Groundlings or Upright Citizens Brigade.
Is it?
That's what he thinks.
He said, tell me why it is.
Yeah.
I keep getting put into this situation. Here's your argument you must defend. What are its properties? Can you tell me what some of the properties a mug might have, Norm? I've lost him. I think he's asleep.
No. I can tell you what properties a mug might have, but I think you might be interested in the fact that this guy used to jerk off punks under the Queensboro Bridge for $15 a man.
Are you sure they were punks? How did we get there?
Paradise with your body, I don't wanna share. We're making dynamite, explosive love intentions building in the air.
In improvisation, you get a suggestion.
Could I play one of the deadly sins?
Yes. You let that inform what you're going to do, for instance. Pick one of your favorite deadly sins.
Well,
gluttony.
I remember one time a preacher that I used to know when I was a young boy. And he said, always driving his bicycle, you know, here and there and here again. Always driving his bicycle. So,
what's going on?
I was going to tell you a story.
I know, but
it has to do with this.
Okay.
And he's a good man, pious man. And one day, his bicycle went missing. So my daddy said to him, Bert, that was his name. We weren't Catholic, you know, he just called the preacher by his first name. Bert, I think I know how to find out who stole your bicycle. How would I do it? When you're talking, when you're doing your sermon next week, you just go through the 10 Commandments. You just go through the 10 Commandments from 1 to 10. And when you hit number 8, thou shalt not steal, you look at the congregation and you'll see somebody, doing this here, you know, fiddling with his glasses. That's your thief. I'll do it, Bert says. So my daddy told me that story, and I was really hankering to see that speech that Bert was going to say that day. So he goes through the 10 Commandments. Starts from 1 right down to 10. Now he gets to 8 and speeds right through it. Speeds right through 8. My daddy said, "What the hell?" So afterwards, you get outside. Bert, what in earth happened? Number 8 was the one you were supposed to go. You know, why'd you speed through it? Bert says, "Well, I tell you why. When I came to number 7 in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not commit adultery. By golly, I remember where I put my bike." He was fucking Widow McClanahan.
Then it's not adultery. She's a widow.
No, but he's a man of the cloth.
Oh, he's a Catholic. He's a priest.
No, he's a reverend, but we have our, you know.
So that's how we got there from the 7 deadly sins. Okay.
Yeah.
Little kid walking down the hall of his house.
Yeah.
He's screaming in his parents' bedroom. Opens the door. There's his father dressed only in chaps. His mother's dressed in a cheerleading outfit, no underwear. They're really having fun. What's going on? He said, "Oh, don't worry, sweetheart. We're just having fun. Go back to bed. I'll be down there and tuck you in a minute." 20 minutes later, father walks down the hall. He hears screaming in the kid's bedroom. Opens the door. There's his kid having sex with his grandmother. He says, "Billy, what are you doing?" He said, "It's not so funny when it's your mother, is it?"
The stylings of Super Dave Osborne in studio. Norm MacDonald and his brother Neil MacDonald on tour together sometime very soon. Norm's in town at Zanies. Zanies all weekend. Zanies.com.
Are you in Zanies in Chicago?
Yeah, you know that place?
Of course, that's a great place.
How do you know it?
I don't.
I knew he was going
But
to.
you know something? Any place that's called Zanies is great.
Yeah, that's
I thought comedians were supposed to do witty repartee and not tell jokes.
Ooh. That's Neil MacDonald talking to Super Dave right now. Once again, the
You know
question,
what? I
Neil
gotta say
MacDonald is
something.
a blank.
May I say something?
Oh, that's the old match game stuff. Norm used to sit in front of the television and watch match games.
I've been in this business a while, and I've never heard anybody say what he just said. I've never heard anybody say witty. Even in class, when I was a class clown,
what about the witty badinage?
the teacher never stopped me like that. I've heard witty repartee before, but that's silent.
No, but aren't you supposed to be experts in off-the-cuff badinage?
Wait a minute. Neil said a word. Wait.
Bring this thing right off the air. If you got anybody listening, I'll just stop it.
Neil, I heard you say something that I hadn't heard ever. Would you say that last line again that Super Dave was talking about?
Aren't comedians supposed to be experts in off-the-cuff badinage? You know, the witty back and forth. What happened to that?
Badinage is like
Listen,
a badminton term.
I said you weren't listening at the first part of the show when I did my repartee badinage. Whatever the hell you're talking about.
Badinage. But Norm, it was so funny. Norm, as a real friend, you tried to explain to me in the studio, he was going like, it's like a badminton game. You know,
It is a badminton term originally. Yeah.
Now, why don't you say badminton?
Yeah, Neil McDonald, Norm's brother. Why didn't you say badminton? Make it easy for us.
No, badinage is a badminton term.
A tournament. Yeah. Badinage.
No, I'm actually funnier than Norman. He's just got the professional kit.
Do you think that's why you haven't called each other back? Is that why there's some hatred
I was
there?
reluctant to come on this show because I'm going to get a lot of calls now, you know.
Norm is hysterical. I'm going to go to Zany's. How do I get there?
All right, here's how you get to Zany's. You go to Zany's, there's Super Dave. You go to Zany's tonight through Saturday. Norm will be there. Zany's in St. Charles. Then tomorrow and Saturday, Zany's in Vernon Hills. Zany's.com, Super Dave.
And Norm's brother Neil will be at a badminton event.
Neil, say goodbye to Norm.
Goodbye, Norm.
Say goodbye to Super Dave. Hey,
Talk
by the
to
way,
you again in a few years.
wait a second now. See, tell him you'll call him back.
Sure, man. I'll call.
No, you won't.
Of course.
Will you?
Yes.
All right. Can I give Super Dave Neil's number?
Yeah.
Oh, just don't do that.
What am I going to call Neil for? You know, what am I going to do? I'm in a good mood. I don't want to blow the whole thing.
No, he can call me up and we can trade bars, you know.
We're at an all-time low in world opinion, and I'm going to call Neil to pep me up.
He just said.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? What's your badminton term today? What's your term of the day that I can take with me all day and pep me up?
No. Call me anytime.
I am going to give Super Dave.
Neil.
I'm giving you the number. He said
Neil ought to be on Match Game.
That's a Match Game. Neil ought to be on Match Game. Hey, he said, by the way.
I'll take Neil to win.
He said.
He's a
What
super
did the
blank.
cat say when it came out of the pet shop going meow?
What did what?
No, he's going to tell a joke now. Go ahead. It's going to be good.
Norm, you know what? I don't know how you wound up funny. That's all I can tell you. I have no concept. You must have run away from home when you were 3. Do you have any other funny brothers and sisters? Just get them all on the phone. We could destroy Brandmeier forever.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to hear the joke, man.
Go ahead,
So do I.
Come on, Super. Tell me the joke.
You have a joke, Neil?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
No, he said, do you have a joke, Neil?
No, I'm not telling Neil another joke.
No,
You would have to pay me.
All right, Neil.
Yeah, I do. I got one.
Tuesday. Come and pay him.
I got one.
Oh, wait.
A priest is checking into a hotel, and he says to the woman behind the counter, I assume the porn channel in my room is disabled. And she says, no, it's regular porn, you sick bastard.
The comedy stylings of Neil McDonald, Norm's older brother, Super Dave Osborne, blown off the map today by that. Wow. Hey, Super, let me hear you.
I have a joke.
Yeah. Oh, Norm's got a joke. Wait a minute. Here we go. Go.
A dog walks into a telegraph office where they send telegrams. Telegram office, right? And so the guy says, "Okay, what do you want your telegram to read?" So the dog goes, "Woof woof woof, woof woof woof, woof woof woof." And then the guy goes, "Oh, I notice you have 9 words. Do you want to put an extra woof like it's for free?" And then the dog goes, "No, that wouldn't make any sense."
You know,
I love Norm McDonald. I gotta tell you, I love him. Because he'll do that at the dinner table too. Hey, here's one. A guy's having trouble with his wife, so he calls his best. Hey, Neil, are you off the phone?
Neil, will you get off the phone so Super can tell his joke?
I just finished writing down that great porn joke, Neil. I won't have to put my finger in my mouth if I get sick to my stomach anymore.
I told you I'm not a professional.
A guy's having trouble with his wife, so he calls his best friend. He said, "You got to meet me at a bar. I got to talk to you." So they go to a bar. He starts drinking. He drinks so much he throws up on his shirt. He says, "Now what am I going to do? I'm going to go home. She's going to scream and she's probably going to hit me." His friend says, "Don't worry about a thing. Tell her you had 1 drink. The guy next to you overdrank, got sick, and threw up in your shirt. And to prove it, he put $10 in your pocket to get it clean. I'm putting $10 right in there." He said, "You're brilliant." He goes home. He says, "I'm home." She comes downstairs and starts screaming at him. He said, "Listen to me. I had 1 drink, but a guy at the bar got sick, threw up on my shirt, and to prove it, he put $10 in my pocket to get it clean." She reaches in. She says, "There's $20 here." He says, "I know. He also crapped in my pants."
Super Dave Osborne. Super Dave Osborne. And Norm MacDonald in the studio and his fabulously funny brother Neil MacDonald in Washington, D.C., award-winning journalist. Neil.
Okay, hey, and Norm, happy birthday. You're great. You're the greatest. Good luck at Zany's, and I hope that we get together.
Oh, you're going to hang up again?
No, yeah, wait a minute. Wait a second. You know what I would love to do? I would love to do some more badinage.
He's a great Canadian. Norm's a great Canadian. He'll probably be mad at me for saying that.
Let's do some badinage.
He's a great Canadian.
What is badinage?
Aren't comedians supposed to be experts in off-the-cuff badinage?
What did you say, Super?
Who cares if he's a great Canadian?
Oh, Super Dave worked in Canada.
I worked for 12 years in Canada. I'm a great Canadian.
Neil, that's a point you could answer. What is the big deal if he is a good Canadian?
What was he doing in Canada, running around in that weird flight suit?
Super Dave was working in Canada.
I did Bizarre, which was the first series in the history of cable, and then I did Super Dave. Yeah, I was running around in that weird flight suit, A-Wipe. That's what I was doing.
Is that an Arab name, A-Wipe?
While you were sitting at home going, what? What is that? Why aren't I watching the Canadian news?
That sounded like Rickles.
I know, I did for a minute.
While you were at home going,
I'm sorry, I got to
While you were at home,
let me apologize. I said I'm sorry.
While you were at home, sitting with a rake, going, bah.
I said I'm sorry.
I know,
okay?
but Norm said that was very Rickle-ish.
I said I'm sorry.
He said,
what do you want me to do?
Neil,
I got caught up.
Oh.
Let me explain something to you. Neil can bring things out of you don't normally do.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah. You know what, guys?
If I was captured, I'd rather have bamboo under my fingernails than have Neil come in and talk to me.
No, if I was captured, I'd want to be in a room with Super Dave. I would.
I just love this.
Told me that we should go our separate ways, but now my life without.
I just think it's interesting that Neil worked in Washington.
Yes.
Which was in the United States, while Super Dave worked in Canada.
Isn't that interesting, Super?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's quite an observation there, Norm.
You were both countries away from each other while you. This is probably the way you're going to stay now, isn't it?
What night are you going to be at Zany's?
What night are you going to be at Zany's?
Tonight and tomorrow and Saturday.
I think he's
And
still.
are you on the road now? When do you come home?
I come home in 12 or 14 days, I think.
Where do you go after Zane?
I go.
I'm going to be on Canadian television tonight. Almost like you don't care.
No, we care. We love Canada. We love it. What time are you going to be on, Neil MacDonald, Norm's brother?
9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern.
On
Canadian.
the National.
They're on the Canadian National Television.
Yeah.
Super. You got satellite dish?
Yeah, I got a satellite dish.
Well, you might want to watch that.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, you might want to.
I really might. There's a lot of things I might want to do.
You know what I would love?
I'm going to be doing a piece on the economy there, Super.
Oh, well, that ought to be quick. What are you going to say? It's not so bad.
No, I'm going to say
this is worse than 1929. In case you're interested.
No, I'm going to say that after spending 5 years in this country, being told that I'm from a socialist nation, I'm going to be talking about how the United States government is nationalizing banks and taking over companies and putting trillions of dollars of public money into bailouts. Nothing socialist about that, right?
No, that's interesting. Now, here's the thing. When I did my shows in Canada, the Canadian dollar was 63 cents. And now it's more than the American dollar.
You mean when you were just running around with that crazy suit on?
Oh, you know what, Johnny B?
What?
That did it.
What? No, wait a minute.
That did it.
No.
That was your farewell thing to me, and that's it. I'm going now, and I'm going to take my clothes off and play badminton.
Neil's badmintage. Neil, say goodbye to Super Dave. Say goodbye to Super Dave.
All right, Super.
Goodbye, Neil. Are you leaving?
Nice talking to you, buddy.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going.
He wants to.
But we got to keep in touch, you and I. I think we're friends now.
He wants to hear you hang up.
What?
He wants to hear you, Neil. He wants to hear you hang up. So go
I'm
ahead.
not hanging up.
No, Neil is.
Me and Norm, when we did Billy Madison, I said I would tell.
Yeah.
The story.
Oh yeah. So that's like the first time you guys worked together in a movie, right?
Yeah. Movie. I mean, it was the first.
That was our first movie.
Hey, we're right here, guys. We're right here.
Yeah. We're doing a pool scene. I'm Billy Madison, of course. So old Billy's going to talk to you and Frank.
I played Frank.
You're going to turn and clarify everything with him?
I get nervous with Normie behind me. But
they wanted me to play a drunk.
That's right.
And so I said, you got some booze? No, but also he called me Frank, and in my mind I was thinking, who the is Frank?
That's right.
You got to go by a different name in the movie. Like, my name's Norm, as you know. So, in the movie, I play this dude, Mitch. Mitch. Right? So, you know, it's hard. A guy calls you Mitch, and you go, what? And then they go, cut, we're wasting money. You know, they get all mad. And I go, I'm sorry, the guy called me Mitch, you know what I mean? And I say, why can't he call me Norm, you know? This is a name, who the hell cares, you know?
Wanted to have me called a character called name of Billy. Yeah, but things quickly became problematic with that because during the scenes, whenever a person would say to me, hey, Billy, I would go, huh? And then they go, Billy, Billy. And I go, oh, yeah, Billy. Right. Fred plays a character on the show named Fred.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We initially called him Mark.
Yeah, that's my name.
I know.
Mark Bergeron.
It was kind of an homage to you, but
Thank you.
Every time we said Mark, he wouldn't look or respond.
So you had to go with the old standard Fred.
Yeah, there'd be many scenes where I go, Mark, hand me some cheese. And he'd go, who's Mark? So.
And that didn't work so well?
They wanted me to play a drunk.
That's right.
And so I said, you got some booze?
No,
but also he called me Frank, and in my mind I was thinking, who the is Frank?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to Norm MacDonald Live, episode number 2, and tonight we have the great Tom Green on the show. We will be asking him questions, interviewing him. I will be interviewing him along with my trusty sidekick, Adam Egret.
It's Egret.
Egret.
Yeah, no,
He's right.
I had a little guy on my show that I found in the
A little
person. A little person.
Should explain to the folks.
And he was an alcoholic. And
like Adam
we
Egret.
put him up. Yeah, we put him up at the Royal.
Okay, we're back with Adam Egret and Egret rather. Here, Fred.
I'm Adam.
Whatever. Well, that name's a name. Jesus Christ, it gets fucking.
You knew what he meant.
Yeah. What's an octoroon?
Well, I don't know. It seems to me some
eighth of a black guy? Is that what you're going to say?
Isn't it an octoroon, Andy?
It is an eighth of a black guy. Who is Andy? You were just.
Who is Andy?
You just said Andy.
I was thinking of Andy Kindler, my good friend. Because you're pointing. I thought he was here.
No,
it seemed almost
Adam.
like it was point. Yeah,
Adam.
That's fine. Andy and Adam. That's great.
It sounds close. Adam Sandler, Andy Sandberg.
Oh boy. Adam.
Yeah.
How could I forget that?
A new study shows dogs can tell when people are doling out fake praise. So I guess that's the one thing that differentiates my dog from Adam Idget. Who's Adam Idget? Oh.
Just a funny name.
Oh, just a funny name? Okay.
Here is posed nude for the cover of Rolling Stone except for a hat hanging off his wiener. And this morning, Adam Egat. Oh, is that your name? Fucking change it. And this morning, Adam woke up and said, hey, where's my hat?
Sorry. Adam Egret, who is, by the way, I'll just remind you, he's over here. That's him. Yeah. It's a joke, an Adam Egret joke.
How do you say the name?
Adam Egret.
Egret. Spelt differently.
Like the bird.
That's Egret. Do you know what Adam Egret has in common with a guitar player?
Adam Egret has in common with a guitar player. No, I don't know.
They both love fingering minors.
Now, okay, come on now. Come on now.
Great.
Black is great. Black is fantastic. Right?
Yeah, I mean, black is fantastic.
Even though, they're not black anymore. But then again, we're not white, right?
Right.
We're pink like his fucking asshole. We're all the colors of Bobby's asshole deep down.
But I do.
I think you took your pants down
On stage?
Yeah, he got pretty naked on stage.
Well, I wanted to prove a point. I said that, you know, skin color is only your skin color, and we're all pink on the inside, so I showed him my butthole.
I remember now.
Yeah, and that was my opener, and he didn't like that.
It's like Lenny Bruce.
It was a real opener.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like you could do that as a poem, like some slam poetry. That's what you should do, Bob. You should go on like
slam poetry?
Slam poetry thing in New York City. Well, they have these, you know. I saw a wonderful play. A guy went on a trapeze over the audience. This was at the height of the AIDS epidemic, and he cut himself. And his blood, his AIDS. Yeah. His AIDS-filled blood went all over the audience. We never cheered because we were afraid to be politically incorrect. So instead, we contract AIDS.
But wait, you were at the show?
Yeah.
You were being sprayed with AIDS blood?
Yeah, we all got full-blown AIDS within the
fucked up
circus.
Did you get your money back?
No, we pretended it was good because we'd rather get AIDS than be called homophobe. But this guy said one of the most disturbing things to me. Yeah. He said he was very into the S&M, gay S&M scene. And he said he loved when guys with AIDS would fuck him. He said something like, when they pumped their death up my hot ass. I was like, oh, wait.
This looks like a badge of courage, almost.
Yeah, it's real Stephen Crane moment.
Oh, man.
It was sort of sex meeting because I'm not good with condoms. I don't mean to get graphic, and I did. See, I'm an older guy. I grew up before AIDS was invented or whatever. I remember
one of the worst inventions ever.
I know. I remember it was one of those things, someone's talking about herpes, and they go, "There's another thing."
Dr. Gerald AIDS with his fucking idea.
Yeah, and the AIDS candy had to go away for the Provenza show.
How are you all? I'm glad to be here. Take my wife, please. I take my wife everywhere, but she finds her way home.
Hey, how about this? Take my wife, please. You think of that joke, 3-word setup, 1-word punchline, 4-word joke.
4-word
That's impressive.
Don't get better than that.
I never thought about that.
I spent the last 2 weeks at Disneyland. It was so much fun. The next time I'm taking my wife and kids. Worst thing I've ever read. These are garbage. The next time, I'll take my wife and kids.
It doesn't really make much
that's
sense.
a rhythm joke. That's a young man. That's such a good time. I got up this morning at the crack of my back, stuffed up the crack, went back to bed. Take my wife, please.
Henny Youngman was a great friend of mine.
He was.
Oh, he was.
He was the best.
The best. Nothing made...
Take my wife, please, right?
Yeah, but nothing would lead into things. You know, he'd get up and just a stream of consciousness. Woody Allen's favorite comedian was Henny Youngman. In other words, he'd tell you a joke like this and he'd go like this, and he'd go, you know what I mean? You go from this. I go to the doctor, and the doctor said to me, "You look great. You're going to live till you're 60." I said, "I am 60. What did I tell you?" Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny.
Henny Youngman was the cheapest man. I'll never forget. He called me one day and said, "Hello, Jack." Oh, my wife died. Can you do a club date for me? That was it. My wife died. Can you do this club date for me? Youngman, I'll never forget that. I just hung up. My wife died. In the same breath, can you do a club date for me?
Just do it.
You know, today I found a guy's hand in my pocket. I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want a Mac." I said, "Why did you ask for it?" He said, "I don't talk to strangers." I had an uncle up here, was a psychic, knew the exact day he was going to die. The warden told him. The drunk gets into a taxi. He said, "Take me to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel." He says, "You're at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel." He said, "Next time, don't drive so fast." I got a wonderful doctor. Before the operation, he touches up the x-rays. Guy walks in, the doctor. He said, "Doctor, I have a ring in my ear. What'll I do?" He said, "Don't answer." Another fellow walks in the doctor. The doctor said, "You're going to live to be 60." He said, "I am 60. He's what I tell you." I said, "Doc, it hurts when I do that." He said, "Don't do that." The doctor said to me, "Get undressed." I said, "Take me out a few times first." I'm standing there naked. The doctor said, "Go over the window. Stick your tongue out the window." I said, "For what?" He said, "I'm mad at my neighbor." I said, "Doc, I got shingles. They try to sell me aluminum siding." Fellow said to another fellow, "Look, take this gun and go in the bank. Tell her you want the money. Get the money in the bag. Back out. Anybody gets in your way, shoot to kill, and come right outside and give me the money. I'll be sitting in the car. And I'm taking all the chances." He said, "You mean to tell me you want me to go in there with the gun, hold up the teller, get the money, back out, anybody gets in the way, shoot to kill, bring the money out to me in the car, and you say you're taking all the chances? How are you taking all the chances?" He said, "I can't drive." Here's one I do myself. I want to do this myself because I like it. As a man lost in the woods comes upon a monastery, a religious building. Outside the monastery, the friars in their costumes and the monks are working. And he tells them he's hungry and he's lost, and they invite him in. They say, "All we have to eat is fish and chips." And he eats the fish and chips, and he loves the fish. He says, "I'd like to meet the man who made the fish." They bring a man out. They say, "You the fish fryer?" He says, "No, I'm the chipmunk." Next scene, picture this. A funeral procession, 2 hearses. Behind the hearses walks a man with a vicious dog, and 100 men in the funeral procession. So a fellow steps off the curb. He said, "What's going on here?" He says, "My wife and my mother-in-law, my dog bit them." He said, "Can I borrow the dog?" He says, "Get in line." In the next scene, I'm sitting on the stool having a drink. Over here's a man on the stool having a drink. He falls down 3 times. I pick him up each time. "Bartender, where does this man live? I'll give him a lift home." Tells me where he lives. Grab the man, pull him down to the car, open the back seat, put him in. He falls down. I get to the address they gave me. I pull the man out of the car. He falls down 3 more times. I pick him up each time. I knock on the door. "Mrs. Einstein, I brought your husband home." She says, "Where's his wheelchair?"
Star, baby, I'm a writer, say no. Ain't got no drugs on me, baby.
Nick.
Dennis Rodman.
Here's an interesting thing. Do you ever notice this?
Yeah.
Penny Youngman
Yeah.
is an old man.
Yeah.
But Gary Oldman is a young man. What about Paul Newman is an old man?
You got another one?
What about Gary Mann is a guy who works over at Comedy Central?
Is that what happened?
I don't know. Joining us now, Robert Duvall, whose new movie, 7 Days in Utopia, is now in theaters. Mr. Duvall, welcome.
Oh, yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, baby. I was telling Kevin earlier, this is how I go to movies. People go, "You want to go to a movie?" I go, "Is Robert Duvall in it?" They go, "Yes," I go.
Well, all right, Dave. That's okay. If that's what you really mean, that's fine.
I really mean it. And I consider you the greatest actor in the world.
Well, thank you very much.
And I wonder, because I always think if somebody is the best, they know it at some level. And also, I know that you're a man of faith and false modesty is a sin. And I was wondering, do you consider yourself the greatest actor in the world?
I think I can hold my own with a lot of people. So I don't know if there's one person that's the greatest. Some people say Daniel Day-Lewis is the best. He's improved. I didn't used to like him. I like him a lot now. But there's a group that are very good. So I don't know if anybody's the best.
Well, here's how I am with acting. I have a lot of problems with acting because I have trouble suspending my disbelief. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times when I'm watching an actor, I can see him acting. Like I'm going, oh, that guy's acting.
Right.
I don't see that with you. Never.
Well, you try to keep it invisible. You try to take it back to just the basic premise of I talk, you listen, I talk, to keep it that simple between the words action and cut. If you're doing film, so you try to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, an actor. Well, let's say a guy is always himself, you know what I mean? Like a guy like John Wayne or something like that.
He could be very good.
Him, I believe, because there's no disconnect between what I see when he's interviewed and what I see. But you, on the other hand, are different in every role.
Well, you still got to bring yourself underneath. There's only one you, right?
Right, that's true, yeah.
So you can't really become something that you're not. You create the illusion of something else, but it's you underneath. You got one set of emotions, one psyche, one everything. So you have to know how to use yourself to bend it or whatever to make it seem like it's something else.
Now, I've noticed in your body of work, obviously talking to you, you're an incredibly literate person and a very thinking person. And I met you one time. I'll tell you this. I met you one time at Saturday Night Live. Garth Brooks was the host, and you came in.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I was very excited because you were going to do I don't know if you remember this, you were going to do a song.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it, and I was very sad about that. But I was so, I wanted to meet you so bad, and then I met you and I talked to you, and I had all these questions for you. And then you started talking to me and asking me questions. And you were looking at me very deeply and asking me, because I come from a rural a farm area in Canada, and you were asking me about ranchers and stuff like that. And I don't know if you did that to deflect my questions or if you do that to study people and steal their soul.
I don't know. What part, where are you from? What part of Canada?
So you're doing it right now. I'm from rural Alberta.
I love Alberta. That's the only part of Canada I really like.
Oh, really?
I love Alberta. The ranch people up there, the Buse family. It's good people up there. Great people. Yeah.
And that brings me to you. You often portray the common man. Is that something that you're not Southern, but you've played a lot of Southern characters?
Well, my dad's from Virginia. That's the beginning of the South, so I feel comfortable. I like the Southeast Conference Football League, and I feel okay in the South, even though I'm in Texas too. Some of my mother's people are from Texas, which is below the Mason-Dixon line, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to portray the common man, except, when I played, one of my favorite parts was when I played Joseph Stalin. He wasn't so he was common, but not so common,
So you don't mind playing a guy that you have to figure out the good part of him or something?
No, each part's a challenge, so, you go with what you have to do, research or whatever, and just jump in and do it,
Now, Kevin Farley has a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been you've done some big movies with big actors. Was it ever hard? Like, did you get nervous, and how do you deal with your nerves? When you have to really bring your game, your A game, and that could, like, say, The Godfather with the scenes with Brando or anything like that. Were you ever really nervous, where you had trouble like controlling your nerves? Where you're like, oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, the last job I did was the most nervous I've ever got in my career. I worked with Billy Bob Thornton. I call him the hillbilly Orson Welles. The guy's brilliant, and we did an interesting movie. And the night before, I had to do a scene, and it worked, but I was so frightened. I had to do a guy that his grandson slips LSD in his iced tea.
Wow.
And I had to, unbeknownst, so I did. I think that intense fear helped propel me into the scene and make it work in a strange way.
Yeah.
Because it was a very demanding scene, but it worked. It worked, and Billy doesn't care if you change things. Some of these directors you can't change to air.
Yeah.
But a guy like Billy, he leaves it open, even though the writing is brilliant. What he's done, he lets you come up with stuff at the moment, which is very admirable. I think it's
It is interesting that you bring up Billy Bob Thornton because I agree with you. When I saw Sling Blade, I was like, this guy is exactly what you said. I said, this guy's Orson Welles. How did he do
absolutely.
this?
He's up there with Coppola or Altman or any of them for me. Yeah.
But then he stopped.
Well, he stopped and he has a country band. He goes around. So I sent a message to him. Do you sing as good as Lefty Frizzell, knowing the answer? You know, I guess he sings. You know, I don't know, but he's got to get back to his A game because the guy he wrote, directed, and acted, and he's on a high level in all those aspects.
Well, can I ask you a question? Because you were in the Sling Blade. You played his dad.
Yeah.
Was this may be a. I don't know if you want to answer this question or not, but you're an honest guy, right?
Sometimes. Yeah.
You go on Sling Blade.
Yeah.
You're watching that. Does that character he did in Sling Blade remind you of a character you may have done 30 years ago?
Well, yeah, that's what Horton Foote thought, maybe. You know, you talking about Tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's what Horton Foote thought maybe he was doing me, but I don't think so. I don't know if he ever even saw that. But not really, maybe a little bit. They could have been cousins, so to speak, you know, yeah. But, you know, when I did it with Billy Bob, there was no script. He just rolled the camera and we improvised.
Is that right?
Was it.
Wow.
So, you know, he's great to work with, and he's got some more things he's going to do, you know, and he's great.
You have an incredible taste in the choices you make, right? You must put thought into this.
Do what now?
Are you a literary person?
Well, somewhat. You know, I read, you know, what I want to read. You know, I'm reading a lot of stuff on the Comanche Indians now because a friend of mine may direct Empire of the Summer Moon, that terrific script on.
Oh yeah.
I guess, you know, I may be wrong, but Horton Foote once said people don't know what goes on beyond the South Jersey shore from New York necessarily, and I think that I don't know what I saw of The Searchers. It may be a great movie by John Ford, but what I saw, I got to watch the whole thing. I found some of it corny.
Yeah.
Melodramatic.
You found some of The Searchers corny?
Yes, absolutely.
Which parts?
Absolutely. Please come home. Please come back. You know. And this book deals with the real thing of that woman that was captured by by the Comanches.
Sure.
And, but if you criticize, a friend of mine once said, if you criticize John Ford, and like I got this great icon from Hollywood, it's like attacking motherhood.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's some of those old guys. Like when I did True Grit, that was one of the worst directors I ever worked with in my life, Henry Hathaway.
Yeah,
one of the worst. Some of those old guys were like tyrants, you know.
Yeah. The
opposite of Billy Bob.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember you saying one time that I found interesting that you either like the new kind of acting or the old kind of acting, and you don't like the old kind of acting.
Well, a guy like Spencer Tracy, for the most part, was terrific. Of course, when he did Old Man in the Sea, the Communist daily newspaper in Havana, Cuba, blasted him, saying that here's a Anglo-Saxon trying to play a Cuban, but actually, when he was right, like Bad Dad, Black Rock, he was wonderful. But I think that the young actors today are better than ever.
You do.
Yeah. Absolutely. You go in each country. Look at the African Americans, the black actors we have now. They never could act before. Before it was like Uncle Tom time.
Yeah.
Wonderful black actors, Spanish actors, guys in Argentina I know, wonderful actors, Spain, England. Mm-hmm. It's open to all now. It's an in medium that's open to all. So I think there's good and bad still, but I think overall the young actors, the bar's been raised. Maybe those who went before, we helped them find that aspect of it all. But no, I really think that it's open for all, and there's still bad work, obviously, and bad movies. But some of the young actors are wonderful.
Well, tell us about this young actor that you're working with in 7 Days.
He's as good as they get. He's terrific. Lucas Black. He's a scratch golfer.
Wow.
It's the only movie ever where the lead actor can hit the ball, really.
Yeah,
he's
no, that's true.
Guy. In between takes, he said, I will challenge the world champion turkey caller and beat him. He does these phenomenal animal calls because he grew up with nature, fishing in the backwoods of Alabama,
Wow.
But he's a terrific kid, and when we did the movie, it was wonderful to go work in Texas with just great people down in that hill country, and the Lou Waters and his family, and Ken Herford and the golf pro stand. All these wonderful people welcomed us, and it was great working with. That's the reason. One of the reasons I took it to work with Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to love it because I love golf. I don't think you love golf, but I love golf.
Well, I like it okay. It just takes too much time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It does.
And my good friend Jimmy Kahn's always out playing, but I'm afraid to ask him his handicap because I know he'll like exaggerate.
Yeah, a lot of golfers lie. I read a thing once in Golf Digest. They went out because it's very, a lot of integrity of real golfers, And it was.
Yeah, well, I've heard of guys picking up the ball when you're not looking and throwing it another 100 feet.
Yeah.
or on the scorecard, I guess it's easier to cheat consciously and unconsciously,
Sure. My second favorite golfer behind Tiger is in your movie, KJ Choi.
Oh, he's terrific. Yeah.
Was he a cool guy?
Yeah, I didn't get to know him, but they say he is. Yeah, he played a villain, but he's supposed to be really a terrific, really a nice guy, So it was interesting working with those guys. I love working in Texas.
Yeah. We should talk about Lonesome Dove because that's
my favorite part.
That's your favorite part ever?
Yeah, ever.
Real, not Tender Mercies?
No, ever. No. I said let the English play Hamlet and King Lear. I'll play Augustus McCrae.
What's interesting? I just thought of this, but you, in many, like we were talking about Tomorrow, Boo Radley, obviously, you played.
Horton Foote, the great writer, my friend. It was wonderful, man.
And so many of these parts that you played were very, is the word taciturn? People that don't speak is that a word?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a word. But you don't speak a lot, and in Tomorrow, you virtually don't speak at all.
Well, when I did, I saw a guy in southern Missouri wants to talk like a cow. So that's the way I kind of did it. We did it as a stage play first for 25 performances at Herbert Berghoff's studio in New York City, and then we did the movie afterwards,
Yeah.
So it was like a complete experience.
But it just occurred to me since you played these characters before Lonesome Dove that were very non-verbose, that maybe Call would be the guy that you would play.
Well, that's what McMurtry still says that I should have played Call. He wrote it. He's absolutely out to lunch on that.
You mean after the movie?
My ex-wife said to me, I read a novel I like better than Dostoevsky. Don't let them talk you into playing Call. You got to play this other guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I really.
So even after the miniseries, McMurtry thought you were miscast.
Yeah, well, that shows you where his head is.
Well, can we come back? Can you stay for another thing? Because I wanted to talk about faith with you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We'll talk about a little faith. Come on, let's do that.
That'd be cool, baby. All right, we'll be back with the greatest actor in the world by my standard and by his own, self-admitted. I wanted to talk about country music because I love country music, and I know Robert Duvall.
Oh, yeah, I like it. I love it, yeah.
Yeah, and we actually have a common friend, Billy Joe Shaver, who I love.
Oh, Billy Joe, my wife made a wonderful documentary on him.
I saw it. It was awesome.
Oh, he was so natural in front of the camera. When I put him in the Apostle way back the second day, he came out and said, hell, I got this deal licked, he said.
Now, listen, if there's a guy whose life story should be made into a movie, isn't it that guy?
I think so. Chris Christopherson once said, if life was a television show, Billy Joe Shaver's come on every morning at 4 a.m.
I want to ask you this, Mr. Duvall, because I want to, since we were talking about country music and Billy Joe Shaver and stuff, when I talk to Billy Joe Shaver, this is what I love about country music, and I talk to him about writing a lot. Right. And he says that the hardest thing about it is taking very big ideas and putting them in very small writing, very pithy writing, not to be over. And it strikes me that your acting is like that, like a lot of the things that you do, like in Tender Mercies, which I loved, you don't speak a lot.
Right. Yeah. So now what's the question?
The question is that why you love country music?
No, I just like country music because I've always listened to my brothers sang opera and they were classically trained, and I always just loved country music. That's what I loved it.
Now, I suppose you'd say that's corny, too. You seem to say everything's corny.
Well, no. There's a legitimate sense of melodrama. I mean, you find that in Shakespeare. Melodrama can be very valid. Things that seem melodramatic.
Right. Because I'm always defending country music because people say to me "Oh, country music, it's just about your dog dying, you're losing your truck, and you
right. Play it all backwards.
Yeah, but I go, that's life. That's what life is.
Yeah, but the point is, you go. I took my wife to her first opera here in Washington D.C. where they played They put the subtitles up there. What they were singing in Italian. It was far cornier and simplistic than any country song I ever heard.
So you're country musicians you like. Lefty Frizzell, you said?
Yeah, well, I love Merle Haggard, but there's so many I like. I like Bobby Bare. I loved Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash. They died too young, these guys.
Yeah.
Well, Waylon Jennings, he was the greatest. It's interesting you mentioned.
Tammy Wynette was wonderful. She was a wonderful lady.
Yeah, you like lady singers?
Talking about. Yeah.
What about? It's interesting you bring up Merle Haggard because I might be way off base, but when I saw Tender Mercies, I'm like, oh, he's doing Merle.
Well, that's what somebody thought. That's what Willie Nelson asked me if I was aping Merle Haggard. I said, "Well, I love him. I don't know if I was aping him or not, but maybe, And then George Jones said it was his life story, which it wasn't. So I don't know. But speaking of faith-based, real quick, Billy Joe Shavers. He lost his son, his mother, and his wife, who he married 3 times. He lost them. They died all in 1 year.
It was incredible. It was like Job.
Yeah, I said, Billy Joe, how'd you get through this? He pointed to his chest and said, Jesus Christ. Now, you can't say that in New York City. Up north, you don't do that. But down there in the south, of those guys, they're pretty inundated in the philosophy and beliefs of Jesus Christ. So that's what he said to me at one point, Billy Joe.
Yeah, they're not afraid to say it. And you're right. If you say it like I live in Los Angeles, if you say such a thing, people will look at you like you're saying you have Down syndrome or something.
Yeah, well, who's the writer from Alabama? He wrote a book all over but the shouting. I forget his name. He wrote for the New York, one of the New York papers. I forget the guy's name right now. He brought that up out in the South. You do that, but then once you get above the Mason-Dixon line, sometimes it's difficult to bring up Jesus or anybody like that because they look at you like you're a square or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they look at you like they reduced him to a silly character.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I'm sure that must have been your motive in writing and directing and starring in The Apostle.
Yeah, it took me many years to get it off the ground. I did. I had to use my own money and everything. Had I done it in Hollywood, they would have never done it correctly. They would have paid me big time, patronized the subject, patronized certain regions in America. When I did it, I put up my own money. I got my money back plus change, and that was it. But I got great satisfaction in doing it.
Yeah.
Because I got from both ends. I heard that the great preacher, from Billy Graham liked it, and then I got a wonderful letter from Marlon Brando saying he liked it. So I got it from the secular and the religious.
That's great. That's
both
fantastic.
Ends.
You got it from both
because
sides.
you. What was the name of the character?
Sonny. Sonny, I wanted to use my mother's maiden name, but that was the name of some preacher, so I didn't want to get a lawsuit. So, his Sonny Dewey, yeah, exactly, yeah.
But that movie really struck me because I grew up in rural Canada in a very, very small town, and the preachers would come, and we would go and listen to them.
Yeah, there's some of those preachers up there in Canada. I actually went to some. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're a little different from the guys. I'm on the devil's hit list.
Well, we never had the Southern Baptists, but we would have the famous people from the United States come, and you could tell. I could at a young age who were the real guy. Now I don't know. I can't look into a man's heart, but some of them seemed fake. Like for instance, I saw Jim Baker. He seemed like a complete fake.
Well, he could be. Yeah, a lot of those guys. Yeah.
But I tell you, I saw Jimmy Swaggart, and I thought that's a real guy. And even when he did his apology on TV, that seemed authentic to me.
Yeah, but he does like he's minimized his crocodile tears since then. He's very talented.
You think those were crocodile tears?
Yeah. Billy, his cousin, who's his cousin?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, he said we work different sides of the street. That's what.
Really? So you think?
But the country singer, what's his name? The guy from Nova Scotia.
Hank Snow.
Hank Snow. Well, his son was a Pentecostal preacher. He was one of the first guys I saw doing my research. Jimmy Snow, has a church down there. But what happened was Lefty Frizzell's wife went to his church, so he knew Lefty was around her, and he was a drunk and this and that. He says, God told me to tell you to leave Lefty. And Lefty called him up and said, well, God told me to tell you I'm going to come over here and whip your ass.
What were you raised?
Anyway.
What were you raised, Robert?
Oh, I was just a Protestant family.
Okay.
Mainly. Yeah. My dad was different. Yeah.
Kevin, you're Catholic.
Irish Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was raised Protestant. That's a little more. Catholic's a little more ritual.
A lot of rituals.
Protestant's a little more. I don't know if it's a little more visceral, direct. Maybe.
Yeah. Don't get my wife started. She comes out of a Catholic family in Argentina where the Jesuits ruled. But we won't get into that. We won't get into that.
Yeah. When did you get married?
Pardon?
How old were you when you married your latest wife?
Oh, I was old. When I met my father-in-law, I said, I don't want to call you a father or son, he said.
It's amazing.
And then I told Wilford Brimley, Wilford, he's a character, that guy. He was a Jack Mormon. He was a bodyguard for Howard Hughes. He sings jazz with a band. He's a very interesting guy, Wilford Brimley. When I came up, I said, Wilford, I got this young woman that's much younger than me. Everybody thinks she's too young, this and that. He said, let me tell you something, my friend. The worst thing in the world for an old man is an old woman.
Now you do have people. You have a much wider interest than most actors, right? Most actors, I think, hang out with other actors or whatever, or go to parties or whatever.
That's okay. I like a good Hollywood party when I'm out there. We live in Virginia, actually.
Yeah.
My wife's from Argentina, but she says Virginia for her is the last station before heaven.
Oh, that's nice.
She loves it here. And, I love Texas, but we like living in Virginia at the moment,
Yeah.
And how do you keep up with a young lady like that?
Oh, well, I don't know. She keeps me going. She looks after me well.
Here's what I was telling Kevin during the break. I was saying, you're 80 years old, right, sir?
Yeah, I'm 80 years old, right.
Now, I see you, when you're interviewed, you don't look 80 at all. You're powerful and you talk, but then you can do parts like I saw. I remember in Convicts. That's where I thought you looked the oldest.
Yeah,
you looked like a real 80-year-old guy.
Well, that was another Horton Foote script, and the director of Tender Mercies, who did not direct that, liked that movie so much he gave it as Christmas presents to his friends. That was a nice film that a lot of people didn't see.
Oh, that was
but
a beautiful movie.
I had a wonderful career of 4 or 5 movies with Horton Foote, and then I had also with Coppola. And had I never done anything but those two guys' works, it would have been a wonderful mini career for me. There were two wonderful, talented people that gave me great parts and everything. But it was great working with Horton. How many people you have a friend for 50 years, for God's sake?
Oh, that's nice.
That's unbelievable.
And then the movie of Get Low that I did, it was so. I loved that movie. My wife loved it so much. I wanted Horton to see that before he died, because it reminded me of his work, but then he died before it came out.
Oh.
And when I was doing the final speech for the audience, my wife was off camera, and she got a telephone message that Horton had just died.
Oh.
When I was doing that speech about death.
Yeah.
Wow.
So ironic. It was like full circle from from To Kill a Mockingbird. You know.
Yeah.
And that's also interesting that you were doing the speech in Get Low, and in Tomorrow, you in the last scene were in a coffin.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, also in a coffin in yeah. Well, you mean in the Convicts? I was in a coffin.
In Convicts, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So who did Convicts?
Who directed that? Pete Masters, and that was Horton's first cousin. Yeah.
Oh wow! Yeah. That was an amazing movie, and that was a character that was, I guess he had dementia.
Yeah. I played him like one of my uncles moved to Texas from Virginia, and I sat on a grave. Whose grave am I sitting on here? and I made that up. Horton would sit under the cameras. He'd write. I say, Horton, could I try a little, change a little? I go ahead, Bobby. That's okay. Then he'd watch it. They say cut. He'd go back to writing something else. But he didn't mind if he changed a little something. Not so much the text, but he was great to work with, Horton. He was really an actor's friend and ally. Some of these directors you work with are an actor's enemy.
Yeah.
Well, Tender Mercies was the best movie ever, but I remember a line in Tomorrow that was so cool. I just remember it now. I'm going to screw it up, but it was when they come and take the boy from you.
Yes.
And you say, do you remember the line?
Once you refresh my memory, it's been a long time.
You say, I expected it. I reckon that's why it took me by surprise.
Yeah, I think that was scripted, though. Yeah, with Horton. Wonderful line.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see that movie for a year. I was so ticked off at the producers and everybody. They cut a scene where I ride on my mule 30 miles to see that son when he's grown up. I say his name, he doesn't recognize me. I take off my hat to see if he'll recognize me. Then he doesn't. And I get in my mule and ride and go back home 30 miles.
Wow.
And I had a great moment. One of those moments I got so emotional I couldn't even speak. Yeah. And they cut the scene.
Oh, that is interesting because in that movie it is a little choppy at both ends.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I won't go into the reasons why that could be, but but overall it was a good experience, and it's always great. It was great working with Horton.
Do you have other scenes that have been cut that you wish were not?
Yeah, probably. I can't think of any right now. Let's hope Billy Bob doesn't cut any of mine from this.
Well, I'm glad to hear that Billy Bob is directing.
Was the most unique script I've probably ever read. The one, Jane Mansfield's Car is the name of it. Billy Bob script. Yeah. And the people, he sent the script to the same people that financially backed 7 Days in Utopia. He never heard from them because a lot of the preachers will not come see this movie. Of course, if they come, they might like it underneath. See, but, it is so secular but so accurate.
Yeah,
you can't. Like a guy called in, a faith-based station called in when we were doing publicity, and he brought up the fact that in the Old Testament there's a lot of R rating.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so it's the secular and as long as it's done accurately and beautifully, it can be a little shocking to some people. But as long as it's done well, as Billy Bob has done, I think in this movie, then it becomes a valid statement of filmmaking.
Right.
When you do a movie, since Gus McCrae was such an incredibly fully realized character and so great. Then when you do Broken Trail or Open Range or anything like that, do you have to try not to go into that, or is it you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean go into it?
Well, is it a tough thing to try to match that because they're similar characters?
Well, similar to a point. Yeah, they are. I actually feel that if you looked at Broken Trail in its entirety, I think it was better made than Lonesome Dove.
Really?
I mean, Lonesome Dove's my bad, but it's right up there, and it and somebody said, this and that. It's not a faith-based movie, but it's a wonderful movie in that these guys saved 5 Chinese girls from servitude and prostitution. The original script, and it was really nice to make. But like with Lonesome Dove, you get 7 hours to develop a character, and a lot of actors won't do TV because you do TV in your career and you try to get out of it to get into features. But then once you get a certain leverage, you'll go back to do something like Lonesome Dove or Stalin. In television, and television can be great.
Yeah.
Still action and cut. I mean, you're playing characters, so but you do have sometimes more time to develop a character.
And you know, westerns are my favorite movies. They always go like westerns are dead, and then a western.
No,
goes
they're not
back and
dead.
it's great.
People say that, but people always look for them, and they're always doing them. There's a flux of a bunch coming back for TV now and everything.
There was a great western a couple years ago about with a big long title. Remember that movie, Kevin? The Coward.
The Coward.
Jesse James and the Coward.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was interesting.
Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I thought it was well done. Yeah,
I thought that was amazing, and they had no music.
The guy did good playing Bob Ford, but Lucas Black would have been terrific too. Boy, he would have been great playing that part.
Yeah.
No, I like some of what Brad Pitt does. Did you ever see him do the movie Snatch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. He was fantastic playing that gypsy. Because I know a little, but I directed a movie once called Angelo, My Love, where I only used one professional actor, and all the rest of the actors were American gypsies, and they were terrific natural actors. But, you know, Brad Pitt, I think, went up to Northern Ireland and picked up that lingo. It was terrific.
Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Duvall, for all your time. You're awesome.
Thank you, Mr.
Duvall. And say hello to Dennis Miller and tell him next time I expect to talk to him.
What the?
Dennis Miller Show.
Hashtag I'm with Norm.
Comedian Norm MacDonald has had a Tonight Show appearance next after some controversial remarks on the Me Too movement.
He made comments about the Me Too movement and his friend Roseanne and Louis C.K. And here's what he said. He said, I'm happy the Me Too movement has slowed down a bit. It used to be 100 women can't be lying. Then it became one woman can't lie. And that became, I believe all women. And then you're like, what? Like that Chris Hardwick guy, I really thought got the blunt end of the stick there. He went on to say his friends, unlike the victims, his friends, the comedians, suffered more than the victims did. That he had to apologize
Not a good
for.
comment.
That was over the line.
He said, I'm happy the Me Too movement has slowed down a little bit. It used to be 100 women can't be lying, and then it became one woman can't lie, and that became, I believe, all women. And then you're like, what? So it's almost as if he's sort of saying that we're taking the women at their word without due process. And that's an argument that a lot of people have right now.
Norm MacDonald was supposed to be on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night, but the show canceled his appearance after the interview he gave to the Hollywood Reporter that was released yesterday. I think it would have been better for Norm MacDonald to get on camera and talk about this, because I think part of the reason that quote, it is in print. And I think the way he says it, yeah, it does. I get what he is saying. It makes sense that, you know, if you're friends with these people, you can't just completely abandon them. You want to reach out to them. But what he says, it makes it sound like he's saying what the victims went through isn't as bad as what Louis and Roseanne went through, which is a terrible thing to say. And I don't think that's what he meant, but that's how it comes off in print.
There was a story today that the funniest comedian in America, Norm MacDonald, was booted from The Tonight Show. Because he criticized Me Too. And listen to what he said. He said, it used to be 100 women can't be lying. Then it became one woman can't lie. And then became I believe all women. And then you're like, what? And so they canceled his appearance on The Tonight Show. And he said of the Me Too movement, the model used to be admit wrongdoing, show complete contrition, and then we give you a second chance. Now it's admit wrongdoing and you're finished. And so the only way to survive is to deny. And he's absolutely right. But the thing is, don't apologize for it.
Let's say you disagree with Norm MacDonald here. Let's say you think what he thinks is unreasonable. Why wouldn't you have him on and just ask him about it? The reason is because we live in such a ridiculously censorious society that we have to make sure that people like Norm MacDonald are never heard.
And if the left, the progressive left, silences Norm MacDonald successfully, the entire landscape of comedy changes forever.
Paradise, with your body I don't wanna share. We're making dynamite, explosive love intentions building in the air. Yeah. So baby.
I feel bad that Roseanne got fired. I think that we have to be more forgiving of people. I've spoken to Roseanne many times, and she's always been in tears, and she's paying a mighty penance for whatever transgression you might think she did. Adam had a question he wanted to ask you about your comedy.
Yeah, I've been chomping at the bits to ask this one. I've been thinking about it all week. Norm told me to come up with some questions for you, and I've just been dying to know, where do you get your ideas from? Well, I mean, yeah, I've been dying to know, where do you get your ideas from? Norm.
Oh, yeah, you know, that's a good.
No, I really, I've been watching you for years, and I've always been really curious. Where do you get your ideas from? I think it's been really a thorough interview. I always wanted to know where he got his ideas from, but I think we've,
Never been asked that before.
Where do you get your ideas from?
I don't know where I get I don't know. Jeez. What, do you have a specific idea you want to know? Where?
No, just all of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why didn't you answer his question?
What was his question?
Ask it again.
Don't ask that again. That was the dumbest goddamn question I've ever heard.
You just want to know where you got it?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you where I got it, at Ralph's. That's where I got it.
Any particular Ralph's?
Yes, no, it's at Beverly Hills Ralph's.
Okay.
Got it in the meat section.
The one on Beverly.
Beverly Drive, okay.
All right, let's grab Jordan before this break. Jordan, 15. Where are you, in Boise?
No, actually in Weezer.
In Weezer, okay. Out in Idaho. What's going on?
Well, I had a question for Norm and a question for you, Dr. Drew.
Yep.
Okay, Norm, how do you come up with your material?
How do I come up with it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, yeah.
Sit and think about it.
How'd you come up with that question? The same way. You just think of stuff, and then you laugh, and then you do it, and then if you don't laugh, you don't do it.
Do you want to be a comedian?
I kind of already am.
Are you a male or female?
well,
he's cracking me up.
You should know the answer, for God's sake.
I'm a dude, man.
How do you come up with your stuff?
I don't know. Kind of in class. I mean...
How about give us your best original joke, or give us the best joke you know, and let's hear your delivery, but no bad words.
With no bad words. Can I think about it?
How you doing?
Good, thanks for asking. First, hey, I'm a big fan of both you guys. And I got a question for Donald there.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Where do you get your material, your comic material? Is it through your imagination or real life situations that's happened?
That's an excellent question.
It is. It's a good one. It's almost like what inspired you to ask that question, sir?
Well, you know, I kind of think myself as being a comic as well. If you need some material, I can give you some right now.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah, let's hear a joke here.
Well, it's not necessarily a joke, but have you noticed that it's always illegal to spit on the sidewalk, but as long as you're with your woman, it's okay to poke a loogie in her crotch? I'm thinking the cheap bastard should go buy some lubricant or something.
Yeah. It's like
Am I wrong here?
punk rock of comedy.
Well, that's awesome, man.
That's great.
That's good.
That's
Thanks.
a new way to approach comedy. It's a.
You want to play a little something on the piano real quick?
Well, Tom, right now it's not powered up because I got an outlet situation.
Oh, okay.
Going.
All right.
I got some pre-recorded material.
Okay. That's all right. Power it up next time.
He could have a
Thanks.
whole act like that.
Wow.
He could. I swear to God, he could craft an entire act like that. You know, why is it okay to throw your gum? Like, you know, why is it bad if you throw your gum on the street, but it's all right if you rape a lady? You know, it's like the premise is crazy. It's not all right to spit in a lady's vagina.
No. No. That was what he was talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he said like
on our program here, on our broadcast.
He said it's so terrible if you spit on the sidewalk, and yet perfectly accepted in our society to spit in your girlfriend's cunt.
Yeah. Shocking.